and death are the same. Both can have value and purpose.
Hear me, my son. I alone will tell you the truth. Death is the only punishment here.
Death is in our air, in sea, in earth. It can come for us at any moment. To show your true heart is to risk your life. Enemies are everywhere and friends nowhere. Life and death are the same. Both can have value and purpose. Remember, we live and we die. We control nothing beyond that.
Okay, ding-dongs. If you don't subscribe to Jeremy Ice and Fire, you're gonna spend the night in the box.
Aren't Cooey.
Remember one, remember all. Welcome everybody to a very impromptu stream here, but something that I've definitely been looking forward to doing a little bit more of on the channel, and that is just general topic discussions. Of course, we are going to be diving heavy, of course, into from Season 5 predictions, but we also have a slew of all of our favorite shows returning in 2027. 2027 is going to be a massive, massive year for television. And yeah, all of our favorites are returning. Everything that we have loved and covered here on this show, from the final season to Severance Season 3, Shogun Season 2, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms Season 2. So much stuff is slated to be released in 2027. It's going to be probably the biggest year of television, at least I've ever had on this channel in terms of coverage wise. And some absolute incredibly fan favorites coming back with Severance and Shogun in particular. I cannot wait. I really can't wait. Yes, Silo Season 4 as well. We got Season 4 of Silo coming next year. Hopefully we get Widow's Bay Season 2 next year as well. That's a bit of a smaller show in terms of production. So I'm hoping we don't have to wait 2 years in between Widow's Bay seasons either. So maybe there's a chance we'll get Widow's Bay towards the end of the year. But yeah, we got so much stuff to look forward to in 2027. Of course, the big one being From, the final season, the last, that is it, the wrap up of From. We are finally going to see how this story is actually going to come to an end. Only 10 episodes left of From until it is over for good. I don't know. I don't know. I am going to miss From. Definitely going to miss From. But I am so much looking forward to all these other shows that are we going to be getting that year as well. For me, when it comes to 2027, it's From, Severance, and Shogun. Those are hands down the three that I am looking forward to the most, without a doubt. But we got a lot of other good ones as well. Like you guys are saying in the chat, Silo's coming back. We got a lot of other good shows coming back. Night of the Seven Kingdoms Season 2. Can't forget about that. A lot of really good stuff. The third installment of 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple Part 2, that will be coming out as well. Very much looking forward to it. But yeah, I totally feel you guys. Completely lost without From. I'm actually working on a massive From video right now as we speak. I'll probably have it out tomorrow. And it is going over everything that absolutely 100% needs to get answered in the fifth and final season. Of course, there are some mysteries that are of the smaller nature that if they're not answered, it's not going to really affect the overall narrative and the story. But there are some things that are just 100% vital to telling the rest of the story of From that need to be answered. And I'm doing a massive video diving into all of them as we speak. And again, that'll be up on the channel tomorrow. But yeah, cannot wait to see what we have for 2027. It is a crazy lineup, right? A crazy lineup of shows indeed. Yes, Rogue Prince 2027 is going to be lit. Absolutely lit. We got a lot of good stuff. I got to start Severance once Silo is completed. Yeah, I would highly recommend checking out Severance. For me, From, Severance, and Shogun are the three best shows that are currently on television. By far, hands down, I feel like everything else is a very wide gap from second, third, and first after that. Those three are just standing in a league of their own, in my opinion. But yeah, definitely check out Severance if you haven't already. Um, and I do want to give more love to Silo. I just didn't have a lot of time to cover Silo this season. Like, I really wanted to cover season three, but I was just so busy with so much other stuff. But when season four does come around, I will 100% cover season four. Silo's just one of those shows that I tend to forget about once in a while. I'm not going to lie. I love it. I absolutely love the show. I love Rebecca Ferguson in that role. She's freaking great. Everything about Silo, I really do enjoy. It just always tends to come on when I'm covering something, a little bit bigger or already covering something. But I am definitely going to make space for season four, regardless of when season four drops, even if it's in the middle of From. I will definitely be covering Silo season four, 100%. You have my word on that. And yeah, same compassion was looking what to see after Silo. Yeah, again, if you guys are watching Silo right now, I 100% agree with Compassionate Chronicles. Definitely check out Severance when you guys are done. Because Severance is coming. They are filming right now. We are definitely getting Severance season 3 in 2027, probably mid 2027, I would imagine. And it's just such a good show. Like the cast of characters, like just in terms of pure casts, I think Shogun and Severance have the two best casts out of any TV show that is on right now, even better than From, in my opinion, just cast wise, and just in terms of pure acting. It's just such a perfect show from start to finish, from top to bottom. There's so much about Severance to love. The characters, the mystery, the setting. It's very much has taken kind of some inspiration from some of the kind of backrooms esque kind of liminal spaces areas where you'll see in the Lumen headquarters. Super trippy, super creepy, gives a very interesting and weird feel to it. Everything about Severance is just incredibly unique. It's one of those shows that there's not really anything else like it on TV. And that's why I really like the shows like Severance and From and some of these shows that are a little bit more unique. They're not reboots of something that came prior. They're not kind of derived from something that's super obvious. They're pretty unique and kind of stand on their own. Severance is just incredibly unique. Again, I've never seen a show like Severance before. And it's just so good, so good. The characters are so good. Adam Scott playing Mark, he just steals the show. Every single scene that he's in, like you see this actor, and he's mostly known for comedic roles. So watching Severance for the first time, I was like, can this actor really nail a kind of serious, more dramatic role? And he can. He absolutely kills it. I can't believe how good of an actor he really is. Considering that he's only been doing comedy up until Severance. But he just kills it. The entire cast is good. It really is. It's one of those casts that there's not a single weak link in all of Severance. Not a single weak link at all. But yeah, a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff to look forward to. Last episode left me with more questions. Man, I know, me too. 100%. 100%. Again, from season four, if you're referring to from season four, yeah, I think it definitely left us with a lot more questions than answers that we thought we were going to be getting. We get some answers, don't get me wrong. Like, there are some definitive things that do get revealed in season four, but nowhere near as much as I thought we were going to get. Like, nowhere near. which makes it pretty interesting heading into the fifth and final season. Wondering, are they going to have enough time to get through everything? I feel like there were moments in season four where they didn't really utilize their screen time as well as they possibly could have. So I wonder, are they going to have a little too much on their plate to try and flesh out everything that From still is that's still left unanswered on From with only one season left? I think they can do it, but it's going to be a very interesting pace, if nothing else. I can't wait to see what the final season of From looks like. From reminds me of Adventure Quest video games from the 90s, 2000s. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, remember you were a shitty parent in every lifetime. I mean, it's very possible that Tabitha was a shitty parent in every freaking lifetime. This is very possible. Just from some of the surrounding evidence that we've been getting, it's very possible that none of the Tabithas were very good parents. Still got to learn a little bit more about the Jades, though. How many Jades were even parents? We know this current Jade certainly isn't a parent. But we'll see. We shall see. Yeah, From and Silo, definitely two of the best ones. Looking forward to. I wonder if Night of Seven Kingdoms is only doing 2 seasons. No, they're planning on doing multiple seasons of the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. They want to do a season of that every single year for the foreseeable future. Ira Parker has talked about what he wants to do with A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and he wants to kind of separate it into like 3 different time periods where this current cast, this current version of Egg, because the actor that's playing Egg, of course, this is Egg when he's super young. But Egg, lives a very, 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 very long life well into adulthood. So from what Ira Parker was talking about is he wants to kind of separate it into like 3 different phases where we keep this version of Egg for 3 or 4 seasons. Then they do 3 or 4 seasons of an Egg as a young adult, which means they would have to recast Egg. Now, granted, they would keep the same Dunk. Like the actor playing Dunk, Peter Claffey, he's old enough and they can definitely weather him up enough to keep him throughout the entirety of the series. They'll never need to recast for Dunk, but they will have to recast for Egg twice if Ira Parker gets his way. Doing this first, batch of 3 or 4 seasons with young Egg, doing another batch of 3 or 4 seasons with a young adult version of Egg, and then doing the final batch of 3 or 4 seasons with the older version of Egg, like old man Egg, because Egg lives to be very, very old. So that would be, if he were able to get his way, that would be, 9 to 12 seasons of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms that we would potentially get if Ira Parker gets his way. The only really question is the source material. There's only 3 books, and that's what is really going to, if anything is going to hinder A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, it's going to be that. It's going to be running out of source material, just like Game of Thrones did when they surpassed the books right around season 4 or 5. Um, Granted, if as long as they're working very closely with George R. R. Martin, George has stated that he's got around 10 to 12 other completed outlines for all of the Dunk and Egg novellas that he's planning on doing. So they could just adapt from there with George kind of filling in the blanks for Ira and them kind of just adapting the shows that way. So it is very much possible that they could surpass the books and the show could still, maintain its good quality. But again, it very much looks like Dunk and Egg is going to be a very long and vast undertaking. It seems like it's something HBO is very invested in. I know that they loved the return that they got on A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, considering just how cheap that budget was and how many viewers it brought in. That show had a huge profit margin for HBO. So they're going to want to pump out as much of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms as they possibly can. So I would be very surprised if we don't at least get 5 or 6 seasons, at least. Maybe even more if Ira Parker gets his way. We shall see. Did anyone hear that there were maybe more than 10 episodes from season 5? I did hear rumors going around, but we have gotten confirmation that that is not the case. From season 5 is 100% going to have 10 episodes like all of the other seasons. But I do remember that. I remember there were some rumors going around saying like the final season might have 13 episodes or something like that. Not the case. I've reached out to some people that I know at MGM. From what I'm hearing, 100% it will be 10 episodes like all of the other seasons. And I wouldn't expect it to change now. I mean, that's just not something networks do when they get to the final season, at least not nowadays. I mean, if this was one thing, if it was, 10 years ago, sometimes final seasons would get a few extra episodes. Like Lost, you look at the final season of Lost, they got like, I think 3 extra episodes compared to like the previous 2 seasons. But nowadays, networks are very strict when it comes to kind of sticking to their episode count, which is very unfortunate. But no, it looks like we are very much going to get 10 episodes. 10 episodes in season 5. I think the only question I have for season 5 of From is, yes, we're going to get 10 episodes, but how long are the episodes going to be? Because that was one of the things that was kind of that many fans were talking about in, during season 4, that they wish that some of the episodes were just a little bit longer. And I do agree. I do agree. If you look at the average runtime for From season 4, most of the episodes clock in right at around 42 to 47 minutes of screen time. That's about it. If they were to get like full hour length runtimes for that final season, that would definitely give them some, much needed extra screen time to flesh everything out. Because again, the only thing that worries me about From is just they just have a massive cast. They have so many characters heading into this fifth and final season that I thought for sure that they were going to kind of thin the herd a little bit with some of these secondary characters so they can kind of really just focus on the main characters that they need to tell the story in the final season. Because you have these characters, these secondary characters that have just been languishing with zero character development the entire time they've been on the show, like Bacta. From just has too many characters, I think. I feel like that's the one flaw on the show. They cast way too many characters. But we'll see. We shall see. Yes, GTA 6. I mean, at this point, I've just like Winds of Winter, I've given up as to when GTA 6 is going to come out. Although I did see the recent development that has been going on with this kind of like, apparently there's a hacker group out there hacking into Sony, threatening to release more GTA 6 footage unless they start printing physical copies of the game when it comes out. It's just crazy. I mean, you don't want to mess with gaming nerds. They can ruin your life in a heartbeat. Don't want to mess with the gamers. Did y'all cover Welcome to Derry? I'm still a little new to the channel. Yes, we did. We did cover it, Welcome to Derry. That's actually one of the Stephen King novels that I'm actually very familiar with in terms of it and Pennywise and the lore surrounding the character. And what I like about Welcome to Derry is they're not going to be going forward in time 27 years like it usually does. They're starting they started where they started in season 1, and they're going to be going back. So season 2 of it, Welcome to Derry, is going to be set in 1935. And I can't wait. There's a lot of stuff that happens during the 1930s timeline. We have the Bradley gang shootout, which we kind of see a little teaser of in the opening credit sequence. So much big stuff happens in that 35 timeline. The giant bird version of Pennywise, which we didn't get in the first season, but we probably should have during the Black Spot incident. But there's so many kind of big events that they're going to have to draw on in terms of source material. And Bill Skarsgård is coming back. Andy Muschietti is coming back. The entire creative team is coming back. They're filming season 2, and yeah, we should probably get that. I'm thinking probably mid to the end of 2027, but that is slated for a 2027 release. And let me pull up what we're looking at here, because yeah, again, I enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, we not only did we cover it here on the channel, but we had a blast covering it. It actually did really well, just like in terms of like viewership and bringing in some new subscribers. It was massive for the channel. It did pretty good. So yeah, definitely we'll be covering season 2 of it, Welcome to Derry, whenever it does air. Again, probably some point in 2027, maybe towards the end, but it is slated for a 2027 release. And again, I can't wait. This 1935 timeline is going to be very interesting. You got a lot of stuff that they can draw off on. I imagine they're going to be diving even deeper into the Bob Gray persona of Pennywise, the human version of Pennywise, or the human whose identity Pennywise stole, at least. So much stuff that they can still draw from when it comes to that. So I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it. And yes, I 100% agree with you here. I don't think it's possible to predict the ending of Severance. I really like it. That is one of the things that I just love about Severance the most. When it comes to all of the shows that we watch, in particular, all of the mystery shows, Severance, in my opinion, is 100% the most difficult to predict, to theorize on. Because you just never know where this show is going. This show does it does it so well, kind of playing things close to the vest, while also giving you good little bits of information along the way, where you don't feel like you're just getting mystery after mystery after mystery and no payoff. where, it did kind of seem that way on From for the first few seasons. Severance kind of plays it a little bit more balanced, where they'll set up some pretty big mysteries, but they'll give you stuff along the way, so it's not just only mystery. You're getting good character development, you're getting some reveals along the way. Really, really good. Just in terms of the overall cast, again, I think Severance is probably my favorite cast, right up there with Shogun. But yeah, and I think that's what makes it so fun is it's challenging. It's one of those like super deeply cerebral shows that you really, really, really need to study. You think you have to study From hard. I think you have to study Severance even harder than From, just in my opinion anyway. Severance is way harder to predict than From. It's just, and it goes in so many interesting kind of directions. It kind of touches on so many interesting topics and themes that are very, very prevalent, both, in the real world and on the show. And it just works. Every little thing about Severance works. And just from a pure cinematography standpoint, some of the kind of filming techniques that Severance has employed have been just absolutely groundbreaking in terms of things that have never been done before in film. Subtle small things like at the very beginning of the series when you see the Sevies kind of coming into the elevator and you see this kind of this kind of distorted dilated zoom in the camera, completely new kind of tactic that had never been used before in filmmaking. It's super small, super subtle, but it makes like these scenes so sleek and so good looking, so crisp. I swear I don't think I've ever seen better cinematography on a show than I've seen on Severance. Maybe Shogun, maybe Shogun comes close to being as good in terms of a production quality and cinematography, but those are really the only two I can think of. They are very much in a category completely of their own when it comes to filming techniques and cinematography. No other show comes even close to touching them. But that's just my opinion. Welcome to Derry was very well done. Part two is coming. Yeah, I cannot wait for Welcome to Derry. It was fun. It was fun. And yeah, we did do some Welcome to Derry watch parties. I mean, whenever I'm covering a show on the channel and it's actually like doing well and we're getting like a good amount of viewers, I'll always do watch parties for those shows. So, like for Welcome to Derry, we did them for season one. We did them for Alien Earth, which was pretty big on the channel. From Severance, Shogun, those kind of shows. All of the big shows we'll definitely be doing watch parties for. But yeah, Welcome to Derry was fun because it had this aspect of, okay, you do have the book, It, that is the groundwork of the source material of the lore, but then you have the show It Welcome to Derry, which draws on a lot of the stuff from the book, but also is completely its own thing at the same time. So it's this good kind of mix of book material and kind of writing its own new and compelling original story. And it just worked. I thought it just worked incredibly freaking well. And what can you say about Bill Skarsgård? He's freaking phenomenal as Pennywise, as iconic as Tim Curry was in the role. Growing up as a kid, there were some shows and some kind of characters that were just always kind of super creepy. And Tim Curry's Pennywise, his version of Pennywise, was one of those characters that it completely defined the character for generations and generations to come. Whenever anybody thought about Pennywise, they thought about Tim Curry. But I have to admit, with Bill Skarsgård's performance, I think he has surpassed Tim Curry in many ways. I think Tim Curry's might be a little bit scarier at times, but I think Bill Skarsgård's version is a more complete version of the character that deals a little bit more into the cosmic aspect of it, a little bit more of the history of his lore and the Bob Gray and all of that. The original show didn't really touch on too much of that. But yeah, I genuinely think that when 10, 20 years from now, when people think of It and Pennywise, I don't think they're going to think about Tim Curry. They're going to think about Bill Skarsgård. I think he is very much settled into that role where he is synonymous with it now. But yeah, really good. Really, really good rendition of the character, for sure. There are no good parents in From, or else the cycle would have ended long ago, or it never would have existed to begin with. This is a good point. I mean, it is a bit of a conundrum when you think of, or a bit of a contradiction, I should say, when it comes to are there any good parents in Fromville? At least when it comes to the original cycle. No, it doesn't look like it. I mean, these are people that literally sacrificed their own children. So yeah, are there any good parents in From? Quote unquote good? Maybe a few, but not a whole lot. I think Boyd's a good parent. I do. I think Boyd was a good parent. I think Tien Chen was a good parent. There's a few. There is a few. I guess we'll see what kind of parent Ellis and Fatima are going to be in season 5. What kind of parent are they going to be to their good old pal Smiley? Yeah, from is where bad parents go to get it right. It kind of is. It kind of is in a sense, and that was something that we saw with the Matthews family when, as soon as they arrived here in Fromville, they were a very much a broken family, a family on the verge of literally divorcing and splitting up, going on one final family vacation before they broke that news to the children. And it seems like landing in Fromville is or was one of the catalysts that kind of brought the Matthews family back together. Fromville healed them in a way, at least up until the part where Jim gets his freaking throat cut out. But up until that point, you could totally see that Fromville was starting to heal Jim and Tabitha's relationship. It was starting to bring them closer together as a family. And even Ethan kind of talks a little bit about this very early on in the show, where he's noticing that they're doing things here as a family that they never did back in the real world, like game night, like they're having these game nights where they're playing games together. They never did stuff like that apparently before they got stuck here in Fromville. So as you know, bad as it is to get stuck in this place, it did at least seem like it was kind of bringing the Matthews family back together. And that's why I really hope that the Matthews family were going to be some of the few characters that made it all the way to the end. I was a little disappointed when we lost Jim, but yeah, what can you say? What can you say? Oh man, at least some longer episodes. If it's 10, that's what I would like. Again, it seems like 10 episodes is pretty set in stone, but the runtime, I guess that is one thing that I'm hoping that they can change a little bit. If we can get episodes that are closer to 50 to 55 minutes each, as opposed to the kind of 40-45 minutes each, even that alone is good. An extra 10 minutes an episode for 10 episodes, that's plenty of extra time. That's an extra episode. That's an extra 2.5 episodes pretty much, of just pure screen time. But that's what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully we can have these episode lengths just a little bit longer in the fifth and final season. But I guess we'll see. I guess we shall see. And yeah, I mean, this is definitely a very valid concern that a lot of people have. RVA Kitty says, I don't see how they're going to get all of the answers in it for all the people in 10 episodes of From. Again, it's going to be a big, very tall task. Again, only 10 episodes where the episodes aren't super, super long, usually, at least, if we're going off, every other season. Yeah, they got a lot to get through. They got a lot to get through in the fifth and final season. I have to imagine there's always going to be some things that are going to be left a little bit ambiguous, that are going to be maybe kind of dropped along the wayside, but I'm hoping those things are going to be more of the ancillary, kind of smaller stuff. Um, the big stuff needs to get addressed, though. Like, there are certain things heading into the fifth season, certain questions that just flat out need to be answered, certain storylines that flat out need to be concluded. And again, all of those are going to be in my video tomorrow for heading into the fifth and final season. The questions that 100% definitely need to get answered. And as I was putting together that video, I really did realize, like, holy shit, there is a lot here. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm kind of just going off, memory of all of the main ones, all the really big ones that we definitely need answered in season 5. Like, how do you really save the children? Who is the man in yellow? His origins? Who is the boy in white? Like, the big, big, big stuff. What is Fromville really? But then when you break it down to some of the other stuff that isn't as big as that, but is still just as vital to kind of telling the whole narrative of From, there are so many things, so many vital things that they need to get through in this fifth and final season. And I'm looking forward to putting out that video tomorrow. I think when everybody sees them compiled all in one area, it's like, holy shit, it's daunting. I would not want to be a writer in the writer's room for season 5. Like, if I had 2 seasons left, I'd be much more confident, because there's a lot. There is a ton of, again, just vital stuff that needs to get answered heading into season 5, let alone all of the smaller stuff and some of the smaller questions that fans are going to want to get answered as well. I mean, if you could make every episode 2 hours, that would be phenomenal. I don't see that ever happening, unfortunately, but that would be great. I mean, who wouldn't love 2 hours of From every week? That would be freaking just, that would be insane. But I don't think we'll ever get something like that. I think the best we can hope for is maybe getting the episodes up to an hour. I think that's really the best we can hope for when it comes to MGM. MGM just doesn't seem to be the type of network that pours a ton of budget into their shows. Like a lot of MGM shows are very much small budget shows. A lot of the episodes are right around the same length, yeah, 40 to 45-minute kind of runtime. They kind of just have their format and they pretty much stick to it. So it's really hard to get networks to deviate from that once they have a tried and true method that they like. But I think the best we can hope for, again, is maybe getting the episodes in the final season up to 50, 55 minutes. I think that's the best we can hope for. But we'll see. I have a bad feeling about season 5. If it would have been up to me, I would have used I would have used season 4 in a much better way to avoid what it's coming for season 5. And again, it's definitely a similar sentiment to what we were kind of saying a little earlier as well. And yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Bruce. I feel like at times, just at times, not always, but at times, there were some things in season 4 that could have been kind of cut out in favor for other characters getting that screen time. The Patty things come up, but it's not just Patty. I mean, looking at that season in general, there were some episodes that I don't think any episode is ever just filler, but there are some episodes in season 4 where there are some things that you can just cut out and kind of focus on some more of the vital stuff. So yeah, I definitely agree with the sentiment to a certain extent that season 4 didn't always use its screen time well. Not always. Again, I don't know, but this is we've been hearing right from the very beginning that this has always been their plan. That season 5, 5 seasons has always been the goal, the benchmark. They want to end it at season 5. They feel that that's enough story time, that's enough run time to tell their story in a satisfying conclusion. So if they still think that, then great. I hope they can. I mean, just from a fan standpoint, just looking at all of the stuff that still needs to be resolved, yeah, it's a little bit daunting. It does make you wonder, are they going to be able to get through everything in just one season? But if they're very confident that they can, then hey, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I am looking forward to seeing it. I feel like they have given us a lot more better. I feel like they have given us far more good storytelling than bad storytelling, um, by a long shot. Even though season 4 wasn't the best season, it still had some phenomenal good moments. It wasn't like it was a shitty season by any freaking means. It might have been my least favorite season out of the 4, but season 4 still had some really fucking good moments. I mean, season 4, episode 5 in particular, is one of my favorite episodes of all time. The Jade flashback, the Jade trip episode. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Yeah, agreed. Jeremy, cinematography, script, dialogue, acting, cast. Like even if I would want to nitpick something about Severance, it would be hard to find anything. And that's really how I feel about it as well. Severance is just it's just that perfect. It really is. It's what I would characterize as a perfect show. I think Severance and Shogun are probably. I think Severance and Shogun are the only two shows that I've ever given out 10 out of 10 episode scores to. I don't think I've ever even given out a 10 on From. But Shogun and Severance those are the only two shows that I can remember off the top of my mind that I know I've given 10 out of 10 to before. Because they're just that good. It is just that perfect when it comes to storytelling, cinematography, acting, dialogue, all of it. It just everything comes together so good when it comes to Severance and Shogun. And yes, Pam Jam, Severance is coming. I know we're all looking forward to Severance, especially for some of. I know not everybody loved season 4 of From, and I know Pam Jam, you didn't really love season 4 of From either. And I'm right there too. I mean, again, there were some aspects that were really good, and there were some aspects that weren't really good. But one thing that I think we've all really loved has been Severance up until this point, and I think we are very, very excited to be diving back into Severance. I cannot fucking wait for that show. Ah, man, Severance really is just so fun. It is just such a fun show. Man, I miss the Severance intros. I must say, I miss the Severance intros. Some of my favorite intros that we've done. But it's such a good show, right? It really is. Again, and it's kind of hard to explain and to even put into words. Like for someone who hasn't seen Severance, it's hard to articulate at times just how good of a freaking TV show that show really is. It is just absolutely insane. Cannot freaking wait for Severance. Severance, Severance, Severance. Yes. But again, 2027 is going to be massive. From Severance, Shogun, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, ton of stuff that we have to look forward to. It's definitely looking good. It is definitely looking good. But yeah, we shall see. I never saw Severance. I have to watch it. Yeah, I would definitely recommend anyone who has not seen Severance. Yes, definitely get out there and check it out, especially if you're a From fan. Now, it's definitely not similar in terms of, From is very much a horror mystery, and Severance is definitely a lot more in the sci-fi realm. But the mystery aspects are super similar in terms of that mystery box style of storytelling, but actually being told well. And again, when it comes to characters that you get super invested in, storylines that you get super invested in, Severance has all of it. It has everything you could possibly hope for in a TV show, in my opinion. And yeah, it requires, I mean, much like From, Severance also does require patience. I feel like Severance requires less patience than From does. At least, when you get to Severance, the first 3 episodes require patience. That much I will say. When you get to season 1, episode 4, the 4th episode, from that point on, it just picks up and picks up and picks up more and more and more and more and more, and it just doesn't let up. Like the quality just stays so freaking good. But those first 3 episodes, they're not bad by any means, but it's very much a little bit of a slow burn in terms of the setup for Severance. Those first 3 episodes dive super deep into the character development, the world building. Like they really set the stage incredibly well to let you know what kind of world Severance is set in. And it is a very, very unique world in terms of the aesthetic of it. Like it's really hard to pinpoint exactly what kind of year it's even set in because it's not really like our world, but it is kind of like our world at the same time. But when you look at Severance and you look at the mix of different kind of technologies and stuff, you'll see some stuff that looks like it's straight out of the 70s or 80s. And then you'll see some stuff that looks like it's incredibly high tech from the future, like the Severance chip itself. It's blended this really just perfect aesthetic of kind of retro and futuristic to kind of create this incredibly unique look and feel that I've never really seen before on a television show or on a film or anywhere for that matter. They're able to just blend these different eras incredibly freaking well. And it just works. It just works on every single freaking level. Every level it works. But we'll see. We shall see. Yeah, definitely check it out. Definitely check it out. Again, I would say if you're before giving up on Severance, at least watch the first 4 episodes. That is what I would recommend to anybody that's getting into it new, that's getting into it clean, that hasn't seen any of it before. I would at least say, at least give it the first 4 episodes before you quit. Because you're not really going to get a really full feel as to whether or not you're going to really like Severance until you see that 4th episode in season 1. Like, it's vital you get through the first 4. And if you get through episode 4 and you're really not like completely hooked at that point, then maybe it's just not a show for you, which is totally fine. But I think the majority of you will be utterly hooked by the time you get to the 4th episode of season 1, and it just gets so good from there on out. So freaking good. Can't wait. Can't wait. Yeah, you won't need answers for those who get massacred. Right? Exactly, Bill. I am right there with you, Bill D. You don't need answers for characters that are going to get freaking slaughtered. And that was one thing I was definitely expecting a little bit more of in season 4. I thought we were going to lose way more characters in the 4th season. And far more important characters as well. I mean, season 3 was pretty heavy in terms of losing Tien Chen and Jim, 2 massive, massive characters. So I thought, okay, season 4 has to be even crazier than that. So to only lose Elgin and Marielle and freaking NPC Roger, that was very underwhelming in terms of the body count I thought we were going to get in season 4. I thought season 4 was going to be so much darker. Severance lives are so much fun. Can't wait. Oh my God, Tam Jam, how fun were the Severance lives, right? And anybody else who was here, covering Severance when we were covering it, how fun were the Severance freaking live streams? I'd say they are easily up there, just as fun as From, if not maybe even more fun. But no, probably just as From. I'll say equally as much fun. It was just so fun to cover that show. So freaking fun. Hopefully they explain the teeth. Yes, again, that's, there are some things that they need to explain. And then there are some of the secondary things that I think we as audience members want to be explained, but might not actually need the answer to in order for the narrative to actually get told fully. But those things being left ambiguous, I'm totally okay with. But like the vital things that we absolutely need to get through, there's a lot of them. There's quite a lot of them, for sure. Um, but yeah, we'll see. We shall see. The Wig's going to get its own spin-off. We can only hope. We can only hope that the Wig would get its own freaking spin-off. Yes, the Wig off. The Wig off, indeed. Yeah, the Wig memes were the Wig memes, the NPC Roger memes, the Fire Mitts memes, the Patty Melt memes. That was one thing that season 4 of From was actually really, really good with. Like it produced so much unintentional comedy that we mined it. We just the entire fandom. We all just mined it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And yeah, you guys came up with some of the funniest fucking shit during season 4 for all of the fucking Wig memes and everything else that came along with it. So yeah, season 4 was crazy, absolutely crazy. Yeah, the Wig in yellow. Oh man, the Wig in yellow. What is up, Dieter? Good to see you, my friend. And if anyone's excited for Severance, I know you are, Dieter. I know you're a big fan of Severance as well. Can't freaking wait. Cannot wait for 2027 for Severance, for Shogun, the final season of From, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We have so much big stuff coming in 2027. It is going to be crazy. Absolutely crazy. And yeah, they can't afford to have any filler in season 5. 100% agree with you, just Stacy. Like, without a doubt, when it comes to season 5 of From, they just can't afford it. They need to maximize and strategically plan out every single minute of screen time that they are allowed to use in that final season if they're going to have any hope of like really nailing it and getting through everything that needs to be get through. But yeah, I don't know. At times, not much, but at times there were some filler times in season 4, like certain scenes, certain kind of stuff that easily could have been just chopped out, and it wouldn't have affected the overall narrative in the slightest. That is not something they can do with season 5. They just, yeah, they can't afford it. They have so much to get through and only one season to get through it, that yeah, season 5 cannot afford to have any filler whatsoever. Not even a freaking second. I don't even want to see a single second of filler in season 5. But who knows? I guess we shall see. Um, how are you, Jeremy? How is the snow? No snow here. I mean, we are in the middle of summer up here, and we are loving it. What's your current ongoing favorite TV shows? I think Severance, Shogun is up there for you as well, but anything else? Oof. Again, Severance, Shogun, of course, From, of course, but after that, like after those three, I think the next one that I'm the most excited for has to be A Night of the Seven Kingdoms season 2. I mean, that show was just so fun. It was everything that I ever hoped to get in a Song of Ice and Fire spin-off show, in a Game of Thrones show. The characters, the world, the setting, the dialogue, the story, everything about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms was just absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, apart from Severance and Shogun, probably A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is one of the ones I'm looking forward to the most. But we also have some others. Definitely some others that I am looking forward to watching, but also looking forward to covering on the show as well. Silo, definitely will be doing some Silo, like we were talking about. That's coming out in 2027 as well. Welcome to Derry season 2, which we discussed a little bit earlier. Definitely going to be covering that. 28 years later, The Bone Temple Part 2, the third installment of the 28 Years Later franchise, when Cillian Murphy is finally coming back, and he is going to be the main focal point for this film. This is what I've been waiting for personally. Once they announced that they were going to be doing a whole new trilogy of 28 Years Later films, I thought, okay, the only thing I'm looking forward to is where is Jim? Where has Cillian Murphy's character been for the last 30 plus years? Where is he now? Does he have a family? Is he still with the survivors that he left off with at the end of the first film? So many questions surrounding Cillian Murphy, and we are finally going to get those answers in The Bone Temple Part 2. Apparently, this third film is solely going to be focused on him. Yeah, Spike will be in it, the Alpha will be in it, maybe Aaron Taylor Johnson will be in it, but the main focal point is 100% going to be our pal Jim. He is back. And again, we get a little glimpse of him at the end of the Bone Temple, where we see that he's kind of sniping out and watching some of the stuff that's happening. But yeah, this is going to be telling his full story. Where exactly has Jim been for the all those years? How is he still inside the quarantine zone if he was seemingly getting rescued at the end of the first film? There are so many questions that they need to answer to connect A to B, the end of the first film to where we are now. Like, we need a really good explanation as to why he's even still in the quarantine zone, let alone, how long he's been there, what he's doing there, and, what role he's going to play in this final film. But yeah, definitely looking forward to the next 28 years later. Very much looking forward to it. What else do we have? Okay, we have Ahsoka season 2. Now, this is one of those ones that's, I mean, like, I'll be watching it and I'll probably cover it on the channel just because there's not going to be much else on at that time. This is coming out in January of 2027. This is one of the few, very, very few Star Wars shows that's actually been halfway decent, ever since Disney has taken over. They just have really fumbled the ball with a lot of the Star Wars projects that they put out. I grew up a huge Star Wars fan. I love the original trilogy. I love the prequel trilogy. But everything that's been coming out in modern day Star Wars, none of it has been super, super good. But Ahsoka season 1 was pretty decent. I think they had some aspects of that first season that actually worked pretty well. Most importantly, Ray Stevenson as Balon Skull. Like, his character was just so freaking good in that first season. And R.I.P. to the actor, Ray Stevenson. He has passed away, unfortunately. And it looks like in season 2, the actor who played the Hound on Game of Thrones is going to be taking up that role. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually a big fan of Rory McCown, I think his name is, who played the Hound on Game of Thrones. Iconic character. If anyone could step into the shoes of Ray Stevenson and maybe play the character of Balon Skull, I think the Hound can probably pull it off. I mean, we certainly know that he is no stranger to sword fights. And I think I think with him with a lightsaber in hand is going to look and feel very natural. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to Ahsoka season 2. We will definitely at least be covering it. And then, of course, we have Dune Prophecy Season 2 as well. This is definitely another show that I will be covering here on the channel. We covered Season 1 when Season 1 came out. And I thought the first season was decent. I mean, I'm a huge fan of both Mark Strong and Travis Fimmel. And anytime I see shows that have actors in them that I really, really, really enjoy, I always at least want to give them a chance. And I'm a huge Dune fan as well. Like, I've read the Dune books. I'm not a huge fan of the Dune films that have been coming out. I feel like they're not the most accurate adaptation of the source material, even if they are kind of decent films. Not the most accurate. But I am looking forward to seeing season 2 of Dune Prophecy. Where are these characters going to go? What is going on with Desmond? There's so much there that they can kind of mine in terms of the very long history of Dune. The beginning of the Bene Gesserit, the Butlerian Jihad. There's so much stuff that they can kind of dive into in a prequel like this. So I'm definitely looking forward to this, and this will be another one that we'll most likely be covering on the channel. Avengers Doomsday. I really don't know what to expect for this. Again, I haven't been the biggest Marvel or DC fan over the last few years. I feel like this genre in particular has really kind of taken a huge, huge step down in terms of quality. It just seems like most of the stuff coming out from Marvel and DC these days, it's just bad. It's just plain old bad. Spider-Man Brand New Day was decent. I didn't mind it. I didn't love it, but I didn't mind it. It was okay. I'm not the hugest fan of the Tom Holland Spider-Man films. I think, for me, it's always going to be Tobey Maguire or bust. But I am at least looking forward to seeing the return of Robert Downey Jr. It looks like this is going to be Chris Hemsworth's last outing as Thor, probably Chris Evans' last outing as Cap. For that reason alone, I kind of want to see how these characters are going to come back and how they're going to ultimately end their runs. But Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, I don't know how that's going to work or if it's even going to work, but I want to see it. I definitely, at the very least, want to see it nonetheless, because I do think Robert Downey Jr. is probably one of the better, if not the best actors in the MCU, just from a pure acting standpoint. And if anyone can pull off a interesting kind of Doctor Doom, it might be him. It might be him. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from Avengers Doomsday. And even less so from Secret Wars. I don't even know if I'll watch Secret Wars, to be honest. It seems like the only characters that are going to be left for Secret Wars are the characters that I just don't care anything about. So I'm not sure how much I'll be invested in Marvel and DC going forward. I feel like both of these companies just need a just like a 5-year layoff period where they don't do any superhero films. Like, because I really feel like there is very much superhero fatigue. Even when you have a decent one come out, it just doesn't land like it used to during those first 3 phases when, everyone was loving what Marvel was doing. It's just not the same quality anymore, unfortunately. So I would love to see both Marvel and DC take a step back and really actually think about what they want to do with these properties going forward, because there's so many good stories, there's so many good characters, so many good books for them to draw off to do some really good films on. But I don't know, it seems like they've just been dropping the ball a lot when it comes to Marvel and DC. So I'll definitely be watching Doomsday. I'll probably do a little breakdown of it on the channel when the film comes out, but definitely not something I'm chomping at the bit to go see, I guess. Dune Part 3. I mean, I at least want to see it. Like I said, I'm not the. I think the Dune films have been really good films. I think they've been, in terms of like the spectacle of it, the cinematography, the writing, the dialogue, the sets, everything looks really freaking good. You can't deny that. But it's just not the most accurate adaptation of the source material. And at times, I just have a tough time seeing Timothy Chalamet as a believable Paul Atreides. Maybe in the first film when Paul's really, really young, but in the second and third film, Paul's supposed to be a grown freaking man at this point. And I don't know, Timothy Chalamet just doesn't scream grown man. Uh, you know, but that's just me. That is just me. Let's see what else we have. 2026, 2027. And now this is definitely one that I am looking forward to. Now, I wasn't the hugest fan of The Boys TV series, but one thing I am a huge fan of is Jensen Ackles. Love Jensen Ackles. I try to catch everything that he's in. Love Supernatural. Supernatural is one of my favorite freaking shows when it was out. Just something about Sam and Dean Winchester. I know we often talk about, From, and if we could have one crossover with any other character, if any other character could come into Fromville, who would it be? And for me, I don't even have to think. It's no choice. It's Sam and Dean fucking Winchester. If I could have any fictional character land in From and help our survivors out, 100,000 million gazillion percent, I am choosing Sam and Dean. Abso-freaking-lutely. And I can't wait for this. Dean, Jensen Ackles, he's getting his own spin-off show from The Boys. He'll be playing Soldier Boy. But we're going to be seeing the origins of Soldier Boy, the formation of that first team, the formation of Vought, how it all came together. And from what I gather, a lot of it is going to be an original story. Because when you look at Soldier Boy on the show and Soldier Boy in the comics, they're two totally different characters with two totally different fates. So at this point, the Jensen Ackles version of Soldier Boy is something totally different at this point, and I think it's way better than the version in the comics. That, of course, that is in large part thanks to Jensen Ackles' acting. I mean, he's just killing it as fucking Soldier Boy. Um, but yeah, I can't wait to see this spinoff. I think this is going to be super fun. I get the feeling this is going to be way better than the original Boys show. That's for sure. And I can't wait. again, I love me some Sam and Dean. I like me some Jensen Ackles, and I want to see what this spinoff is going to kind of entail. Um, I don't know. Jensen, anything that Jensen's in, I'm always going to check out.
Soldier Boy. Fab Five Freddy told me everybody's fly. DJ spinning, I said my. Flash is fast, Flash is cool. Francois Sapar, Flash ain't no dude, and you don't stop. Sure shot, go out to the parking lot.
Go out to the parking lot. Yeah, Soldier Boy was fun. I think Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy was probably the best part of those final few seasons of The Boys. Again, wasn't the biggest fan of The Boys as a whole, but loved Jensen Ackles, and he was great in it. So definitely looking forward to seeing his spinoff. Vought Rising, the rise of Vought. Should be interesting. Let's see what else we got. Foundation season 4. Now this is one of the more lesser known shows, but we did cover. We have been covering this on the channel, and actually did pretty well for season 3. The numbers we were getting for the 3rd season of Foundation were actually surprisingly way more than I thought they were going to be. Season 3 ended off in a very interesting kind of position. I know that this is also a show that PM really enjoyed as well. There's a character on here, this female robot character called Demerzel, that PM loves. Really, really freaking phenomenal character. Probably one of the most interesting android slash robot characters that I've ever seen. Incredibly well written, incredibly intricate, this long history of this kind of very formidable robot character that is this kind of custodian, this guardian of this kind of Cleon line. Foundation was fun. Again, I really like it. It's very much, heavy sci-fi. Kind of Star Wars meets Game of Thrones in a sense is kind of how I can explain Foundation. But I like it. I think it's very much a lesser known show, but it was good. I love the first 3 seasons. Lee Pace in particular, the actor right here, just absolutely phenomenal in season 3. Season 3 was his best season by far. The character that he plays is just so fun, so sympathetic. Like you can't help but root for him. It was fun. Again, anyone who hasn't seen Foundation and you like sci-fi, I would definitely recommend this one. But again, only if you're like a really, really big sci-fi fan. If you're not a huge sci-fi fan, this might not be for you. But if you do really like sci-fi, stuff like The Expanse, this is probably one that you'd enjoy. This is probably one you would enjoy. All right, let's see what else we got next. Alien Earth Season 2, supposed to be coming around mid-2027. Now, again, I'm not quite sure what to expect from Alien Earth. I feel like Alien Earth Season 1 started off really good. Like, it started off freaking fun. It was intriguing. It was something new, an alien kind of, story set on Earth for the first time ever. We haven't really seen that before. So it was interesting, and especially where the show was focusing not so much heavily on the xenomorph, but more on the synthetics within the alien universe, which is something that a lot of the alien films haven't really done, made the synthetics the focal point of the storyline. So for a while there, they had this really good kind of winning formula, I think, for Alien Earth. But then when you get towards the end of season 1, the show just kind of started to fall apart a little bit to the point where the finale of season 1 was one of the worst episodes of television I've ever seen in my life. Like the way season 1 ends is so bad. It's just so anticlimactic. And I dare say it's cringe. It's just a cringe ending. Like the dialogue choice, just everything about how this first season ended was very disappointing. But I do still want to see season 2, just considering that there is potential there to be a really, really good show. Again, the season started off really phenomenal. I thought Timothy Olyphant was great, playing this kind of this synthetic android that was kind of like the father, the guardian of all of these smaller synthetics. They had this very interesting kind of Peter Pan theme infusion kind of woven throughout the narrative and throughout the characters, where all of the characters were kind of loosely based on Peter Pan characters and even named after Peter Pan characters, like Wendy and all of them, Wendy Darling and all of these other characters. Again, it started off good. I think Alien Earth started off really freaking good, but towards the end there, it just, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like I just feel like they didn't stick the landing. I guess it was a really good first season that just didn't stick the landing for me. But I definitely still want to see season two. Definitely still want to see season two. But man, it really got it really got bad there at the end. Potential definitely still has some potential, but man, the ending of season one was just such a waste, such a disappointed ending. And then Avengers Secret War, which again, not really excited for. I don't know if I'll even watch Secret Wars. By the time we get to Secret Wars, most of the characters that I care about will be long gone. And I don't really care about any of these new characters that Marvel is spitting out at us. Every single one of them is just hollow and flawed and predictable and just boring. So I'm not really looking forward to a lot that Marvel is going to be spitting out over the next few years. I think Marvel and DC both need a very hard reset. They tried to bring James Gunn into the DCU, and it just has not worked yet. It just hasn't worked. James Gunn just is not the type of person to run the DC universe. He just isn't. His style of filmmaking, the tone of his types of films, I mean, there's some DC characters that they'll work good for, but not many. DC is a much kind of darker tone than Marvel has. For the most part, anyway. But yeah, a lot of stuff coming. A lot of stuff coming in 2027. But again, when it comes to the three main ones, the main ones that I'm looking forward to more than anything else, it is 100% from season 5, Severance season 3, and Shogun season 2. I think these are going to be not only my most anticipated shows, but just going into 2027, these will probably be three of, if not the most anticipated shows coming into 2027. Shogun in particular is probably going to be, number one in terms of like the most anticipated show that is coming back. It has to be Shogun, just considering how well it was received, how critically it was acclaimed, how the fans loved it. Everybody loved Shogun. And it was just the most authentic look at a feudal style era of Japan that we've ever seen in our lives. And you got to see like just how much the samurai really were. I think people look at the feudal Japan and the samurai and they just think of them as warriors, but they were so much more than that. Yes, they were some of the best warriors in the world, but they were masters at everything that they set their mind to. They devoted themselves fully to mastering whatever craft that they were pursuing that day, whether it was tea ceremonies, calligraphy, all kinds of stuff. They mastered everything, completely devoted themselves to the disciplinary of every task that they would perform. And it was just so good. Again, it's not one of those shows that if you're going into it looking for a ton of sword fights and this and that, that's not what Shogun is. Shogun is not a high, big action show. Yes, there's definitely some action in it. You'll get some good sword fights. Don't get me wrong. These are samurai at the end of the day. But it more focuses on the samurai life as a whole. And more importantly, the life of Toranaga and the dynamic between him and John Blackthorne, the English kind of pirate that washes up on the shores of Japan and ends up becoming one of Toranaga's most closest confidants. The show is kind of based around their dynamic and their relationship and how it's kind of cultivated, and how Blackthorn becomes one of Toranaga's right hand men, really. It's so good. Again, just in terms of characterization, writing, dialogue, cinematography, set design, world building, like everything that they put into Shogun. I've never seen anything like it in terms of a production quality. It was completely dwarfed even Game of Thrones in terms of how big it was. So yeah, this show is just absolutely freaking phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. All right, let's see what else we got. Let me turn that up a little bit. See if that volume's a little better now. Little better now. But yeah, Shogun, so freaking fun. So freaking fun. And again, this is why I have really been looking forward to 2027. Shogun season 1 aired in 2024. It's been 3 freaking years almost, that I have been waiting for Shogun season 2 to eventually return to our screens, and it is worth every single second of that wait, knowing that we are going to be getting it very, very, very soon. Probably, I'm thinking we'll get it like maybe mid 2027, or to maybe mid to like fall 2027 is probably when we'll get it. Which means you guys have plenty, and I mean plenty of time to catch up on it. I mean, now that From is over, there are a few shows that I have been wanting to kind of dive back into and do rewatches of, and Severance and Shogun are at the top of that list. So in the coming weeks, when I have a little bit more time soon, I'm thinking of doing that. We'll do maybe a Severance rewatch. We'll rewatch season 1 and season 2 of Severance and do some streams talking about them. And we'll probably do a complete rewatch of Shogun season 1 as well. Just because it's been quite a while since I've seen any of these shows, and I definitely need a refresher. I've been dying, and I've really been wanting to rewatch Severance and Shogun lately, just because it's been so long. So yeah, I think that is something that we will probably do in the coming days and weeks. Probably when we're done with our From rewatch. We're in the middle of our From Back to the Beginning rewatch. Tomorrow we have actually season 1, episode 8, which is a very, very good one. We'll be diving into Boyd's backstory, and we get to see the flashback to everything that happened when Boyd first arrived in Fromville, and of course the horrific incident of him having to kill his own wife. Looks like that's going to be in the next episode. So when we're done with our From rewatch and our From recap, we'll probably just go right into either Severance or Shogun, and we'll do a complete rewatch, and we'll do some discussions along the way of these phenomenal freaking shows. Because again, they're so good. If you appreciate good television, if you appreciate good characters, good writing, good story development, if you just appreciate a good quality product, you're gonna love Shogun and Severance. They're so freaking good. I don't think I can even count on one hand how many people I've introduced Shogun and Severance to that didn't like them. Just about everybody we show these shows to ends up loving them. And for very good reason. And for very good reason. They are absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. All right, let's see what we got here. We got Dieter, who has gifted 5 jewels and a treat emoji. Thank you so much, Dieter, for the gift of the 5 jewels. Very, very much appreciate it. We also have Westeros for $4.99. Dude, where do you think the talismans were transported to? I don't know. That was something that we were discussing a few weeks back when we were doing some of our rewatches. We got to our rewatch of season 1, episode 4, when Victor shows Ethan the faraway tree for the first time, and he shows him the rock, how he draws a little smiley face on the rock, drops into the faraway tree, and it kind of lands 10 feet behind them. And after seeing that scene, it just instantly kind of clicked, where I thought, holy shit, these things are going to pop up somewhere. This very much felt, in hindsight, like a bit of a foreshadowing that dumping these talismans into the faraway tree doesn't necessarily mean that they're just going to be gone. All it means is that they're going to get spit out somewhere else. So I think that'll be very interesting. I mean, I get the argument where if the characters do find them somewhere else, it kind of just defeats the purpose of why they were stolen in the first place. So I do get that. Part of me maybe hopes that they don't even get found at all. But seeing that scene again in season 1, episode 4 of Victor dropping that rock, it just instantly made me think of the talismans and the possibility that maybe they are somewhere. Maybe they are going to get spit out somewhere, and our characters could still find them. But again, will that kind of diminish the talismans being stolen in the first place? It might. It might. I mean, it might be just for a narrative standpoint and for just an entertaining standpoint, it might be better if they're never found. It would add just a super chaotic level, a level of chaos rather, to the final season that you just can't really replicate, that you can't really get any other way. These characters have been stuck in this town for a very long time, and for a while, they've afforded a good deal of protection, at least from the nightmare creatures. Every night, they put up their talisman, they shut their doors and windows, and they're relatively safe as long as they don't make any stupid mistakes. Taking that safety away from them in this 5th and final season and putting them just completely on the ropes, that might be a more interesting aspect to the fifth and final season, and it might add a certain sense of urgency to the characters, where they feel like they're going to have to scramble to get all this done as quick as possible because they have nowhere that's safe anymore. So part of me kind of doesn't want the talismans to get found, and part of me wonders that maybe they might get found. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. But if they are going to get transported to, what is the most likely place? Eh, I mean, again, it could be anywhere, really. I mean, when it comes to these faraway trees, and we don't really have a method nailed down as to where they work and where things get sent. I have heard some people talking about how the trees, how the rocks will end up back in the original stone hut where Boyd originally found them, which is a possibility. I mean, I don't know how likely that is, considering when Boyd found them, a lot of them were actually like wedged into the foundation of that little stone hut. So I don't know if that's even possible to happen again. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they could pop up anywhere or they could pop up nowhere, is really the sentiment I have. But I guess we'll see. Well, let me know what you guys think in the chat as well. Do you think that we will see the talismans again? Because again, maybe we will. Maybe they'll get popped out somewhere. Maybe some of our characters will get lucky and they'll stumble upon a big group of talismans and they'll be saved. But again, I don't know. I feel like it might diminish them stealing the talismans in the first place if they're just going to find them again. So let me know what you guys think. Will our characters find the talismans, or are they gone for good? Let me know what you guys think. They're in the pool. Maybe, maybe. I mean, shit. Crazier things have happened on From, right? Hmm. Maybe they are. Maybe they're in the pool. I am starting Shogun tonight, says Michelle Miller. Hell yes, Michelle Miller. I absolutely love that. I love hearing that. Definitely let me know what you think tomorrow. Tomorrow night we'll be doing our season 1, episode 8 rewatch stream, our back to the beginning from stuff. So anyone who is getting into Shogun or Severance or any of the shows that we mentioned here tonight, definitely come back tomorrow night and let me know what you guys thought. I think you'll like it. Again, it's definitely not one of those shows that you're going to get a ton of action and tons of fights and all of that. It's more of a just very well written. It deals a little bit more of the trappings of power, the kind of political maneuvering, the stuff that made those early seasons of Game of Thrones so freaking good, when the show didn't really have to rely on action and spectacle and big old battles. All it had to rely on was good dialogue, good characters, good writing, a decent plot, and a really, really rich setting. And that is Shogun to a T. Not going to have these crazy spectacles all over the place. Again, you're definitely going to get some action. Don't get me wrong. Again, they are samurai. You will see some good action. But for the most part, it's really that good kind of those trappings of power, taking a look at the political maneuvering during a very bloody time in the Sengoku period. Which is which kind of is right at the end of the Sengoku period, right before the Edo period starts. And it's one of the bloodiest times in Japan's history and one of the most unstable. But it's so fun. It is so fun and it is so authentic. It paints the most authentic look at feudal Japan that I have ever seen anywhere by far. Not even close. Should I start Shogun or Severance? I mean, honestly, you can't go wrong with either, my friend. You cannot go wrong with either. Shogun is only one season, so it's a little bit easier to get through. It's just one season, 10 episodes, and it picks up right at the very beginning and it just does not stop. Like, it never gets boring once. Severance, I would never say Severance is ever boring, but the first few episodes of Severance is a little bit of a slow burn to start. It sets up the world, it sets up the characters, and by the time you get to, like, again, episode 4, the show really, really gets good. So it's really I guess it's really a matter of time. If you have enough time to kind of get through 2 seasons, start Severance. If you have enough time for maybe only 1 season, then I would say start Shogun. But in terms of the quality, they're probably very similar in terms of just quality of storytelling and just how fun they are to watch in general. So you can't go wrong with either one. Cannot go wrong with either, Random Traveler. But let me know which one you end up choosing. Let me know. The super chat is for you all followers. I am not in Jeremy Ice and Fire business, but a longtime fan. So this super is for us fans. Hell yes. Going out to the fans, West of Westeros. So generous of you, my friend. And thank you so much for you and everyone that has been, super supportive of the channel over these years. You guys have been freaking great. You guys have been absolutely epic. And I really can't thank each and every one of you enough. I really, really can't. My goal is to do this full time, and I'm very, very close to being able to do that pretty soon. And that's thanks to all of the support that you guys have shown the channel. So I really can't thank all of you enough. You guys are the freaking best. And Westeros again for $4.99. Fans of Jeremy, click that like to show him support. Wow, thank you, Westeros. Very, very much appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And another $1.99 from Westeros. Jeremy, gonna do Welcome to Derry Season 2. Absolutely, Westeros. We are 100% gonna be covering it. Welcome to Derry Season 2 without a freaking doubt. We were talking a little bit about it earlier towards the beginning of the stream, but I actually really enjoyed covering it. Welcome to Derry Season 1. It did really good for the channel, way better than I thought it was going to do. And again, Bill Skarsgård has just completely redefined the role of Pennywise. Like when you think of this character, you just instantly think of his version now, whereas before everyone kind of always thought of Tim Curry's version. But what Bill has done is, again, completely reinvented the character, and I think he's going to be super memorable in this role for a very, very long time to come. I cannot wait to see what they have in store for season 2. The second season is going to be set in that 1935 time period where a lot of big, crazy stuff happens. I imagine the Bradley gang is going to be a big focus in the second season. I can't wait. I can't wait. I will 100% be covering Welcome to Derry Season 2, West to Westeros. 100%. And one more from Westeros for $4.99. Movie critics, Spider-Man 7 out of 10, The End of Oak Street 6 out of 7, and Super Mario 9.7 out of 10. Ooh, interesting. Okay, all right, let's break some of these down. Now, I haven't seen all of these myself. I have seen the new Spider-Man film, Brand New Day. And you're giving it a 7 out of 10. That's a decent score. That's decent. For me, again, I'm just not in love with the Tom Holland version of Spider-Man. I just feel like the character is just way too reliant on tech. Now, they did start to fix that a little bit in this latest film where he's getting the organic web shooters and he's starting to become stronger and a little bit less reliant on tech. But up until then, I mean, it's really been more of an Iron Man sidekick than it's been Spider-Man. Like it doesn't feel authentic Spider-Man. Spider-Man doesn't rely on tech, or at least the original Spider-Man does. The Spider-Man that most of us grew up reading and watching doesn't rely on tech like this. This Tom Holland version of the character seemed a little bit more like, a mini Iron Man than he felt like Spider-Man. But in this final film, this latest film, it seems like he's finally becoming Spider-Man. He's not Spider-Boy anymore, I guess. He's finally becoming Spider-Man. So yeah, I think it was a decent movie. I'm glad that he shed some of the tech. I'm glad that I don't mind the organic web shooters. I think I liked how they did that in the Toby version as well. But for me, Spider-Man Brand New Day, I would probably give it like a 6 out of 10 for me personally. 6 out of 10. And that would probably be even lower if Frank Castle wasn't in it. If John Bernthal's Frank Castle wasn't in it, it would probably be a 5. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of a lot of the castings. Zendaya just is not MJ. She just isn't. Anyone who has ever read, anyone who grew up reading Spider-Man, really reading Spider-Man and Peter Parker and MJ and all those characters that come with that beautiful Spider-Verse, Zendaya is simply not MJ. She doesn't act anything like MJ. And I don't know, just not a big fan. Zendaya fatigue has 100% set in. But yeah, The End of Oak Street, I do plan on watching. That one does look pretty interesting. I like Ethan Hawke. I try to catch just about everything he's in. And it looks, pretty interesting premise where it seems like the whole street kind of gets brought and like dropped back off into like dinosaur times. It looks like pretty weird premise. But it's something I'll definitely check out. I've not seen it yet, but I will. And Super Mario, 9.7 out of 10. People have been raving about Super Mario. I still have not seen that myself. But when I get a chance, I'll probably check that one out too. I loved Mario growing up. I mean, hell, I'm Italian. Of course I loved Mario. Of course I loved Mario. I mean, even the 90s movie, even the Super Mario Bros. Movie that we got in the 90s with John frickin' Leguizamo. I love that fucking film. Still to this day, I love that freaking movie. One of the better video game movies, in my opinion. But no, that's awesome. West of Westeros, awesome scores, and yeah, definitely gonna check out End of Oak Street. We also have another 10 jewels and a thumbs up from Adrian. Thank you so much for the 10 jewels. Very, very much appreciate you, my friend. And I appreciate the thumbs up. And this woe goes out to you guys in the chat, and you super chatters. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, awesome stuff. But yeah, 2027 going to be a crazy, crazy year for television, and I am super excited for it. But from season 5, again, I think out of all the shows that we are going to be getting in 2027, I think from season 5 is one of the ones that I have probably the most questions about in terms of how is this final season going to look? How are they going to structure it? What is the tone going to look like? Is it going to be sped up a little bit so they can actually get through everything? Are we going to have something happen in the narrative where a sense of urgency sets in, where our characters need to get this done within a certain amount of time before Fromville just completely implodes on them? Was pulling out the main faraway tree the first domino in a long line of chain reactions that will eventually lead to the destruction of Fromville? That's one thing that I want to see. I would love to see the characters in season 5 be under some sort of kind of sense of urgency where they feel they have to get this done, they don't have a lot of time left, or they're going to go down with the fucking ship if they don't solve this. I feel like that would be the best way for them to be able to get through things in a quicker pace without the tone feeling like freaking whiplash, where you're just jumping from event to event all over the place. So I don't know. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do for the 5th season of From. I feel like there's so many directions that they could probably take this final season in, but which one are they actually going to take it in is the question. Which one? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Soldier Boy was great in The Boys. He was. Soldier Boy was freaking fun. Yeah, Soldier Boy. Tell him. I just love Jensen Ackles. He's so fucking good, isn't he? Fucking Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy. Fab Five Freddy told me everybody's fly. DJ spinning, I said my. Flash is fast, Flash is cool. Francois Sapah, Flash ain't no dude, and you don't stop. Sure shot, go out to the parking lot.
Fucking Jensen. I love it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Soldier Boy spinoff. Again, I mean, The Boys was okay. I wasn't super in love with The Boys as a TV show, but I did like Soldier Boy on The Boys. Like, again, it was a way better version of the character on the show than the comics. Like, the comic version of Soldier Boy turns out to be a little bit of a joke there towards the end. Definitely, Jensen Ackles brought a totally different dynamic to that character. Way better. Way freaking better. Amara Yummy, haha, she's the voice of the Mandalorian chief in the show. Interesting. Interesting. I was a big fan of The Boys for the first 2 seasons, but oh boy, they took downhill way too seriously. I mean, right? I'm with you. Again, I feel like season 1 was the only season that I actually really liked of The Boys. From season 2 on, it just started getting just a little too absurd, and some of the scenes on The Boys have stained my brain, have been just stained my freaking brain to the point where I unfortunately will never be able to unsee them. And anyone who has seen The Boys, like actually seen every episode, you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a few scenes in that freaking show that I think all of us wish that we never fucking saw. Stuff that human beings just weren't meant to fucking see. Stuff that is not meant to be in television. The Boys went a little too far sometimes. just disgustingly so. But Soldier Boy was good. Soldier Boy was definitely the best part for sure. Foundation, I did enjoy. Oh, okay, so we do have some fellow Foundation fans. Love that. Michelle and Ashley both watch Foundation. Love it. Yeah, again, it is one of those smaller, lesser known shows. Doesn't have a huge kind of marketing promotion. It's on Apple TV. I mean, Apple TV isn't a small network by any means, but I found that they don't pour a ton into marketing for some of their smaller budget shows. Like you'll see them market the hell out of shows like Ted Lasso and Severance and some of the bigger ones, Pluribus. But some of the smaller shows on Apple TV just don't really get that same level of promotion, and Foundation is one of them. Unfortunately, where it just doesn't get a whole lot of spotlight, but it's good. It's a really good show. I love the idea of the clone Cleons, the clone dynasty, where every generation there's a new batch of these three kind of different Cleons, all at different stages in their lives. It's a very interesting concept with how they've set up the monarchy within Foundation. I've never really seen anything set up like that before, which is a very big deviation from the book. Actually, Foundation is actually based on books. And in the books, the Cleons are way different. It's not like these different clone Cleons that we get every generation in the book. It's really just one family of Cleons that kind of spans the course of like thousands of years. But I don't know. I think that what the show does works. I think what the show does works. Yes, yeah. Foundation is the she is. Yeah, it's fun, right? It is. It's again, it's definitely one of the more underrated shows. I would say one of the more underrated shows. Really fun. Never heard of Foundation, but see, I mean, and I think there's a lot of people that probably haven't heard of Foundation, Pam Jam, and just for all those reasons that I just mentioned, it just doesn't get a ton of marketing, doesn't get a ton of promotion, but it's good. It is a fun show. It's got a really good cast. Um, if you're a sci-fi fan, again, I mean, if you're not like a really heavy sci-fi fan, Foundation probably won't be for you. But if you're like a genuine, real sci-fi fan and you like interesting sci-fi, I think Foundation is something you would probably enjoy. It's something that every sci-fi fan should probably check out for sure. Yeah, with a nice big budget as well. Great CGI, great cast. I mean, the CGI is good, absolutely. I mean, Lee Pace is great. He's freaking great. Absolutely phenomenal. They're all good. They're all good. Let's see what else we got. Scrolling down. Damn, I forgot about this as well. Season one was good, but the end almost forgot about it already. Oh, I think you're probably referring to Alien. I think we were talking about Alien back then. And yeah, I mean, again, Alien started off really, really good, and then it just kind of went off the rails there at the end, right? Man, I want Alien Earth to be good, but xenomorphs aren't pets. Yes, my obsession with the franchise is what keeps me watching the car wreck. 100%. And that was one of my biggest problems with it. And we discussed it a lot during during our coverage of season one. But yes, I think that was a huge problem that a lot of us diehard Alien fans had. You can't domesticate a xenomorph. A xenomorph is not a dog. It's not a pet that you can break in, that you can bend to your will. This is the most efficient killing machine in the entire freaking universe. You can't domesticate them. And again, it just didn't work. Again, I like the beginning of the show and when they were kind of focusing a little bit more on the synthetics and creating this new version of a synthetic that blends the human consciousness with a synthetic body, essentially kind of creating immortality in a sense. I liked that aspect. An alien show that's focusing a little bit more on the synthetics. Totally good. I like that concept. But yeah, as the show continued to go on, it just started to veer more and more off the rails and started to feel less and less like an alien show and more like a Noah Hawley show. And that is a problem. That was a huge problem there. Again, when you see how Alien Earth started and you see how it ended, night and day difference. Like the ending of Alien Earth season one was awful, just absolutely abysmal. But again, I love how the show started. And I think that the show does have potential to be a really good show. They just got to tweak a few things. They got to tweak a few things. Worst of all, I'm finding out about season 2 right now. Thanks for that, Jeremy. Hey, well, you got it. You absolutely got it. Yeah, again, we got a pretty good slate of shows coming out between the end of 2026 and 2027. Again, we got From season 5, we got Severance season 3. Can't wait for Severance. We got A Night of the Seven Kingdoms season 2, which is going to be freaking great. We got Shogun season 2. Can't fucking wait. Man, so much good stuff to look forward to. We got Silo, we got It, we got 28 Years Later, we got Ahsoka, we got Dune season 2, we got Avengers, we got Dune part 3, Soldier freaking Boy, Vought Rising, Foundation season 4, Alien Earth season 2. A lot of good stuff coming in 2027. I am looking forward to it. Again, I can't remember the last time that we've had this many major big shows in one calendar year. Usually, like just ever since I've started the channel, usually you'll get maybe one or two of these shows in a calendar year at most, and that's it. Whether it's, From in another one, or Shogun in another one, or Severance in another one. Never have I ever seen this many just absolute bangers listed in a single calendar year. It's going to be the craziest year of television that we've seen in a very long time. Very, very, very long time. But yeah, we shall. And that was the problem, right, Ram? By the time you get to the end, it just felt more and more like a sci-fi show and not like a alien show, like it was supposed to be, like it was marketed as. Again, it kind of starts off that way. But man, the more you kind of get into that show, it kind of veers more into just a sci-fi show and not an authentic alien xenomorph show. But yeah, definitely check out Shogun, guys. 100%. Shogun is phenomenal. But yeah, Severance, From, Widow's Bay, Common Side Effects. I don't know what that is. Paradise, I do need to get into. Like, I've actually been hearing a ton of good stuff about Paradise. Dark Matter, I do want to catch up on. I actually really love Joel Edgerton. He's just freaking great. So I do want to catch up on Dark Matter, and I do want to catch up on Paradise. Silo will be covering. Yellow Jackets, I don't know. I guess I kind of fell off the Yellow Jackets bandwagon. I thought season 1 of Yellow Jackets was really good. Season 2 was okay, definitely a drop in quality. But for me, season 3 of Yellow Jackets was unwatchable. Like, I just couldn't get through it. I don't know why. Like, it was just something about the way season 3 was going. I couldn't get through season 3. I tried. I did. I legit tried to get through Yellow Jackets multiple times because I was planning on covering season 3 for the channel. But I just couldn't get through it. I don't know, something about, season 3, it was just not very appealing to me. The whole show was never my favorite, and I was never super invested in it. Maybe it's just that. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of fell off the Yellow Jackets bandwagon. But I do know it's a massively popular show. I know I'm probably in the minority when I say I don't like it. But yeah, I know a lot of people love Yellow Jackets. It's still a massively big show. But I don't know. I just felt like the quality just wasn't quite there in the second and third season. But I don't know. Maybe I need to go back and give it another try. Maybe I can go back and give it the old college try and see what I can see. Try it again. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, speaking of Shogun, I rewatched The Last Samurai. It was pretty good. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, Last Samurai is a pretty good film. Hiroki Sanada also in that as well. That was one of the films that really kind of put Hiroki Sanada on the map in the first place. After The Last Samurai, he blew up as an actor. He was in everything after that. And to see him, all these years later land this role of Yoshi Toranaga and how well he freaking plays it. Like, he was born to play this role. If there was ever an actor, like, legit, that was born to play a role, it's Hiroki Sanada was born to play Toranaga. he fits this character like a freaking glove, and it's because he has such reverence for the character. He knows the character's history, and the character is based on the real world Tokugawa Aisu, one of the most famous kind of heroes in Japanese mythology. Um, and you can tell that he's just so in tune with this character. He knows it very, deeply, very intimately, and you can tell he loves playing this role. This was only supposed to be a one season, one and done season. Shogun is based on the James Clavell novel, but the novel itself is actually based on the real world history of Japan during the Sengoku period and during Tokugawa's rule. So even though the book has already been adapted, there's still so much real world history that they have to draw on to do more seasons. So I was so glad that they didn't end it at season one. They originally this was only going to be a mini series, but just seeing how well it was, not only received but everything. This show won so many rewards. It just completely cleaned up all over the world. There was no chance that FX wasn't going to do another season, and not only another season, but two more. For those who don't know, we are not only are we going to be getting season 2 of Shogun, but we're going to be getting season 3 of Shogun as well. After season 1 ended, FX and Hulu, they loved Shogun so much that they already went ahead and greenlit seasons 2 and 3. So we have 2 more seasons of Shogun to come. Season 2 is not going to be the final season. And who knows? I don't even know if season 3 will be the final season. And depending on where they are, how much story they cover, it could be. I would be fine with them ending it at 3. But I would also be fine with them doing more too, because it's just that fucking good. It really is just that good. Question: will you be doing the new Harry Potter in the winter? Also, we're going to do Severance in line. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to be doing some Severance. 100%. We're going to do a Severance rewatch pretty soon. As soon as we're done with the From rewatches that we're currently doing, we'll probably go right into some Severance and some Shogun rewatches. Definitely, definitely, definitely. As far as the new Harry Potter series goes, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be covering it on the channel or not. I'll probably at least give it an attempt. I'll at least say that. Like, when it eventually airs, I'll watch episode 1. I'll do a review on episode 1. And depending on how it does, maybe I'll cover the rest of the season. And it really just depends on if I like it or not. I don't know if I'm going to like it. I don't not like Harry Potter, but I don't really love Harry Potter. It's not really my thing so much. I've always been more of a Lord of the Rings fan, but I'm at least familiar. I'm familiar with the characters and the world and the lore and all of that. So I at least know enough that I could cover it, and not sound like a fool. So we'll see. When episode 1 eventually does air of this Harry Potter show, I'll check it out. If the first episode is good, I will definitely do a breakdown on it, and we'll go from there. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we shall see. I don't know. I think whenever you're doing something like a Harry Potter, like a reboot, like a Harry Potter, it's tough. I mean, to reboot something that was already done like really really well, or at least from what I gather, a lot of people really enjoy the Harry Potter series, the Daniel Radcliffe one, and just by its very nature, this series is always going to be compared to that one. People are always going to be comparing which one was better. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like it does put the series maybe at a small disadvantage with the films just being so prominent and so established up until this point. It's hard to kind of crack into that mold to make a name for yourself when something is already just completely defined a genre. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to expect with Harry Potter, the series. I haven't really been keeping up on a lot of the castings and stuff like that. But I don't know. Like I said, when episode 1 drops, I'll watch it. I'll do a breakdown on it, and if it's good, if I like it, I'll cover season 1. We shall see. And we have Joan R for $10. Thank you so much, Joan. Very, very much appreciate it. Jeremy, I want you to be able to do this full time. Wow, thank you so much for that, Joan. I very, very much appreciate that. And yeah, I'm getting there. I'm definitely getting there. I am very close to where hopefully pretty soon I'll be able to do this full time. It's what I do for the most part now. I mean, I'm mostly doing YouTube. But yeah, the goal is to do this 100% full time, and I'm pretty close. We're getting there. We're getting very, very close now. But thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I very much appreciate that, John. Very, very much appreciate that. You guys are the best. You guys have been super supportive, and the fact that I can even attempt to do this full time is 100% thanks to each and every one of you and all the support you guys have shown the channel. Absolutely insane. Cannot thank you enough. And I agree. I know Hallie's on my shit list for causing me to watch that show. I mean, and it's a little disappointing, isn't it? Because Noah Hawley had a pretty good reputation heading into Alien Earth. Like, this is the guy that did Fargo. Like, Fargo was phenomenal. At least the first season of Fargo was so fucking good. And he also did Legions, that X-Men show on FX. That, I mean, it only lasted for a season or two, but Legions was fucking so good. That was one of the better X-Men shows that I've ever seen in my life. So heading into Alien Earth, knowing Noah Hawley was, helming it, I was actually very excited. I'm like, okay, like this, yeah, I mean, he's been killing every show that he's done for FX. Why wouldn't he do a good Alien? So I had a lot of hope. Like, I had a huge high bar heading into Alien Earth, hoping that it was going to be really, really good. Just because, again, Noah Hawley has been really good in all of his previous shows. But some IPs, some genres, some stories just aren't for some directors. They're just not for some writers. And I just think Noah Hawley's style of filmmaking just doesn't jive very well with the Alien universe, the aesthetic of the Alien universe. Some things just don't fit. Some shit just doesn't jive. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. We shall see what season 2 of Alien Earth is going to deliver to us. I am not sure. Not sure. But yeah, here we go. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff to look forward to. Victor's father, Henry, turned 75 on August 17th. He played Madonna's boyfriend in Desperately Seeking Susan's movie. Yeah, I mean, good old Henry. Good old Henry. I'm very worried for both Victor and his father heading into the 5th and final season. I would be very surprised if both of them survive the whole season. I think they'll both go. I don't want Victor to die. Don't get me wrong. Victor's one of my favorite freaking characters of all time. But I don't know, Victor, the idea of him going back to the real world and trying to integrate into that, society, that's going to be so hard for someone like Victor. I don't know. But I would like to see him win. I would love to see Victor make it out. I just don't know if he's gonna. I'm not too sure. I'm a little worried about Victor. Talisman on the tarp, if anyone dares. Maybe. Yes, Jeremy, now you piqued my interest. I'm excited. This is awesome. Awesome. Well, that is great. I mean, yeah, if you guys are getting, even a little bit interested in any of these shows that we're discussing here, then yes, that is absolutely a job accomplished. I will consider it. Because, again, there's some really, really good shows out there. I know that we're all missing from, myself included. I know it sucks having to wait a little while for the 5th and final season, although we are going to have a much shorter wait for season 5 than we have in previous seasons. Like, we are definitely getting the 5th and final season next year. It's not going to be a 2-year wait. And that's great. That is absolutely great. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, shit, From is over. It sucks. What else do we have to look forward to now? House of the Dragon came and left super fast as well. Only 8 episodes of House of the Dragon. Really kind of just gone in the blink of an eye. But yeah, I cannot wait for 2027 to get here. There's so much good stuff for us to dive into, right from the very beginning of the year to the middle, to the very end. The whole year, there's going to be just great stuff coming out nonstop. It's going to get busy. It is going to get busy. I mean, hell, if there was ever a year that I might actually be able to go just full on, full time, it might be next year. Like, after all the shows that we're going to be covering in 2027, I am definitely hoping to see a good amount of growth covering all of those shows in one calendar year. That maybe after 2027 is over, I'll be able to just do this full time, because we are very, very close to being able to do it now. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. We got so much good stuff to look forward to. So much good stuff to look forward to. Yeah, I don't really like. I don't like that they made Spider-Man bigger than it should be. Spider-Man is supposed to be the friendly neighborhood superhero, and that's kind of how I like him as well. And I think that's how a lot of us kind of grew up with the character. He's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Spider-Man. He doesn't have all of this tech that he relies on. He's not fighting all of these cosmic threats. He's fighting his rogues gallery. He's saving New York. He's saving the subways. He's saving people in taxis. He's saving buildings downtown. Like that is quintessential Spider-Man, the kid from Queens. That's the Spider-Man I like. And yeah, what they did with Tom Holland is they really just made him a mini Iron Man, really, more than they did a Spider-Man character. And that's kind of just been my only gripe with it. That has been my only gripe. Yeah, 100% agree with you. Yes, the Zendaya and Tom Holland power combination in movies should come to an end. I hated her part in the Odyssey. Yes. They had her playing Athena. Just not a great casting for Athena. Definitely not a great casting for MJ. I feel like she's just really not MJ at all. Yeah, I don't know. These power couples that get cast in some of these roles just over and over and over again, it just gets exhausting. It gets nauseating after a while. Nauseating after a while. I was happy to see Yoshi, not gonna lie. I mean, who doesn't love Yoshi, right? Yoshi's fucking awesome. I love me some Yoshi. Absolutely. Love me some Yoshi. Yeah, Tom is forgivable. At least he has some acting range. And Dyer, on the other hand, though, she only has one range like a rock. She really does. That is one thing that I can 100% agree with. When you look at Zendaya, almost every time you see her on screen, she's making the exact same facial expression. Whether she's happy, sad, thrilled, it doesn't matter what she's feeling. She's got the same fucking blank look on her face every single time you see her. And it's the same thing with Dune as well. I don't think she was a great casting in Dune either. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the actress. I just don't think she's a very good actor. Who is Martin? As Chef in 77 says. Again, I am currently working on a pretty massive From video. It's a From video that is going to be asking, or it's going to be detailing everything that absolutely needs to get answered in season 5. Not some of the smaller stuff that, that if it doesn't get answered, it's not going to affect the overall plot. I'm talking about all of the mysteries that 100% need to get resolved in season 5 in order for the narrative to actually be told in a complete manner. And it's a lot. Again, I'm gonna finish the video as soon as I end this stream, and I will be uploading it tomorrow on the channel, probably before we do our episode 8 rewatch stream. But man, like as I was researching this video and kind of going through the show and trying to think of every single vital thing that needs to get answered, there's a fucking shit ton. I think people are gonna, like I said earlier, I think people are going to be very surprised and shocked when they see all of it kind of compiled in one freaking area in one video, and you see just how much stuff they really, really need to get through in season 5 alone. It's a lot. It is daunting, and I know that there's probably going to be a few that I'm going to miss. So after that video does come out tomorrow, and you guys watch it, definitely let me know down in the comment sections if there are any other vital stuff that you think definitely needs to get answered in season 5 that I miss, because I know I'm going to miss one or two. There's just so freaking many. It's daunting. It is daunting. Like when I was writing this list, I was like, holy fucking shit. They have so much that they still need to get through, and that's just the vital stuff. That's just the stuff that's absolutely necessary in order to tell the narrative. I'm not even talking about some of the smaller mysteries that they also, should probably answer as well. I'm talking just the straight up vital ones that are needed to tell the story. There are so freaking many things that they need to get through in season 5. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but shit, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I agreed that a sense of urgency is needed. I think it would help, at least from a tone and from a pacing standpoint. If there is this kind of sense of urgency in that 5th and final season, they'll be able to get through things at a much more rapid pace. And again, maybe it won't feel so much like tonal whiplash, where we're going from kind of tone to tone. I don't know. I don't know. I'm very interested to see what they're gonna do with that final season. With that final season. Dean's singing is awesome. 1 out of 10. Rings of Power. Ugh. Rings of Power. Ugh. Oh man. I mean, I don't know what's going to be going on with Rings of Power. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be covering it on the channel or not, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Rings of Power is another one that's been a big letdown for me personally. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I totally understand shows taking certain liberties with some things. Some things you have to change every once in a while when it comes to an on-screen adaptation. Some things just don't translate very well from book to screen, and that happens. But what Rings of Power has done is just gone like way too far outside of the realm of Tolkien, to the point where they're even introducing wizards into the world in a completely different age that they were actually introduced into the world. So Rings of Power has just changed way too much. In order for it to be like a super authentic version of Lord of the Rings, just in my opinion, personally. But I will at least be watching season three, and if season three ends up being a lot better than the first two seasons, then yeah, maybe I'll cover it on the channel. I try to only cover shows that I genuinely, really, really, really like, because I don't really want to cover a show and just be bashing it every week nonstop. And it felt like that a little bit with from season four. Like at times, it felt like I was bashing the show a little too much, and I don't feel like I'm ever like trying to bash the show. I just always try to give my honest opinion. And there were a lot of things in season four that just didn't work for me. But I never want to feel like I'm up here just completely bashing a show. And Rings of Power, there might be a little bit of bashing if I cover the whole series, because it's just got so many problems. Just in my opinion, anyway. So I don't know. Rings of Power is going to be kind of on the fence whether or not I'm going to cover it or not. Again, if season three comes around and it's actually improved a lot in quality from the previous seasons, then yeah, in that case, I'll probably cover it. But I'll at least watch it. Definitely at least watching it. Yeah, Rings of Gen Z. Totally fucking Rings of Gen Z. It really is. Shit. Good stuff. Good stuff, guys. Absolutely good stuff. Um, let's see what else we got. Yeah. Let's play Fetch with your Xenomorph. It's just you can't domesticate a Xenomorph. What are you doing? What are you doing, Noah? Uh, will Clara continue to be Sophia's little minion? I think at least in the beginning. I mean, one thing that we did see at the end of season four is that Sophia was asking Clara to go get rid of Elgin's body. Now, that indicates that Sophia doesn't want to get exposed yet. Sophia doesn't want people knowing who she really is yet. Otherwise, why even take the time to hide the body? Or why take the time to have Clara hide the body unless you were planning on still being undercover? And that worries me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I can't handle another whole season of this Sophia undercover dynamic storyline. Like I just it really ruined season four in some ways for me. But I don't know. It definitely seems like her cover is very much still intact. So will she be using Clara a little bit? Probably. She's using him to bury Elgin. So I imagine she'll probably use him for some other things. But I don't know. I don't know. I can't handle another full season of the Sophia undercover storyline. I just can't. I just can't do it. But we shall see. We shall see. Widow's Bay was in my top five. It was very good. Widow's Bay was so fucking good. It was such a pleasant surprise. I had a feeling Widow's Bay was going to be fun. I had no idea it was going to be this fun. I didn't think it was going to be this freaking good. It was phenomenal. Everything about Widow's Bay. And maybe I'm a little biased because it's kind of set like right in my backyard, these kind of small New England coastal towns, which is where I live. So you definitely see a lot of stuff that you kind of instantly recognize, like, okay, like, they at least did kind of a good job at times. The accents, though, I will say, they did not do the accents very well. Like anyone who's from, Massachusetts or the New England area, you know there's a very specific accent that people have here in the Northeast. And Widow's Bay just they didn't really get the accent down very well. But maybe that's just a little bit of a nitpick. It's probably something that most people don't even recognize. It's unless you're from here, you probably don't even recognize it. But yeah, Widow's Bay was fun, man. Widow's Bay was so freaking fun. Definitely, I would probably say top five. Yeah, probably in my top five shows of the year. Widow's Bay, good show. I can't wait for the second season. Cannot wait for the second season of Widow's Bay. Hopefully, we'll get that in 2027. We shall see. We shall see. I saw It Ends movie in theaters on Monday. Slightly gave me From vibes. With the driving loop? Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I do want to see that. I do want to see that film. The It Ends. It looked pretty interesting. That is one that I am definitely going to check out. But yeah, I like hearing that it's got some From vibes though. That's cool with the whole driving loop. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out. Definitely gonna have to check that one out. I have not seen your covers about Pluribus, Jeremy. What did you think of it? I enjoyed season one for what it was, and I'm curious to see where season two takes us. I I wasn't in love with Pluribus. I must say, I just don't really like the character of Carol. I love Manusos. I think Manusos is a phenomenal character. He's fun. I feel like he's everything that I was hoping Carol was going to be. But I just had a real tough time in kind of getting invested in the show just because I just really don't like Carol. I think Carol is an awful person, an awful character. I mean, it's well written. I know it's written that way purposely, but she's just an abysmal, selfish character. She's one of the most selfish people I've seen, and which is pretty crazy considering her position that she's in. Throughout the entire show, you just see her only really doing what she wants to better herself. Doesn't really care about humanity, doesn't really care about trying to find a cure to this thing. I don't know. I just found her very self serving in season one and very unlikable. Just not a big fan of Carol. But I don't know. I mean, I didn't co- I did a few videos on it, and I definitely did a few theory videos on like what I think Carol's ultimate role in the show is going to be. And I thought the interesting aspect of the emotional aspect of the show, how if Carol gets like super mad or super frustrated or kind of flips out, we see all of everyone else like physically reacts to it. They all have like these massive seizures. And I thought that was very interesting. I thought that was maybe a telltale sign that Carol, or just immune individuals in particular, that they will ultimately end up being the cure for this. I think Carol is the cure to the pluribus virus. I think it's just a matter of time of her figuring that out and figuring out how to use that to cure everyone. But I do ultimately think she's going to be the answer to fixing everything. Her and Manusos, of course. But yeah, I don't know. I just had a tough time really getting super invested into Pluribus just because I just really didn't like Carol as a character. I just think she's not a really good character. But that's just my personal preference. I know and I should probably say, I know I'm probably very much in the minority there. Just about everybody that I talked to loved Pluribus. And that's great. I mean, Vince Gilligan, he's a master storyteller. I have to imagine that the show is only going to get better from here on out. So I don't want to judge it too harshly too soon. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't love season one. I did not love season one, but I will cover season two when it eventually comes around. And again, it's Vince Gilligan, so I'm sure he's got something fun up his sleeve planned for sure. We shall see. We shall see. I wonder if Game of Thrones will be rebooted in the future. I think it will. I think it's only a matter of time at this point. I mean, probably not going to happen anytime soon, but I don't know, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, tops, we will definitely see a full on Game of Thrones reboot. We will. It's just a matter of time. And who knows? Maybe they'll be able to stick the landing on the next go around and stick a little closer to the books. And hopefully, maybe the books will actually be finished by then as well, which is something I'm not quite sure will ever happen at this point. I don't know. I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith and our pal George that he's going to be able to finish these books. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But we shall see. We shall see. If Victor survives to get out, I hope that he just goes back to being the little boy riding in the car with his mother and sister. I mean, that would be ideal, wouldn't it? I mean, I think if Victor does end up getting out of Fromville, if he survives and he ends up being one of the characters that does kind of make it out, I have to imagine he would probably, because I don't see Henry surviving for one. So I don't think Henry will be there. But if Victor does survive, I have to imagine he'll probably live the rest of his life with Tabitha and the Matthews family. I just feel like that's the best kind of the next best place for him. I feel like they've been kind of very much setting that up, that Tabitha is starting to kind of accept Victor, and we kind of see it in season 4, where towards the end, when Victor was kind of showing Ethan, what it takes to survive here alone, and Tabitha saw him kind of bringing out these just very sad dolls that he made as replicas of his family, so he didn't feel alone. Poor fucking Victor, man, he feels a little bad for him. But I think that was the moment where Tabitha finally realized that Victor needs her too. It's not just Ethan and Julie that need you. Victor needs a parent too, especially with Henry just completely going off the rails lately. So if Victor does make it out of Fromville, I have to imagine he'll probably stay with Tabitha and the Matthews family. That's just my guess. Just a guess. But that's if he lives. That's if he lives. I don't know. Part of me worries that Victor is going to be one of the characters that doesn't survive. But we'll see. Fargo was really good, and Legion as well. I had no idea the same person was involved in all 3 of these, right? I mean, it's night and day difference, isn't it? Where, again, Fargo was freaking phenomenal. Season 1 of Fargo is one of the best freaking shows ever made. I only wish I had a channel back then when that show aired, or otherwise I definitely would have been covering it. And Legion too. Legion, I was very upset when Legion got canceled. I think Legion could have been a phenomenal show that could have gone on for multiple seasons. And then yeah, he gets handed this Alien franchise, and I think, okay, I mean, he did well with Fargo, he did well with Legion. Why wouldn't he be able to do well with a Xenomorph show, an Alien show? Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. Again, it started off good. I think Alien Earth started off in a very interesting kind of direction where they were focusing more on the synthetics. But, as the show goes on and you start getting into pet xenomorphs and all this stuff, it starts to feel less and less like Alien. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see what season 2 is going to do. Will season 2 be better? I don't know. Let's see what else we got. Who do you think will be the first to die next season among the OGs in From Season 5? Ooh, interesting question. Man, out of the OGs, like the main OG characters, who's going to be the first to go in Season 5? Oh, man. And of course, this is a great question, chat. So everybody in the chat, let me know what you guys think as well. Out of all of the original OG characters of From, which do you think is going to be the first to get killed off in the final season? What do you think, chat? Man, I don't know. For me, some reason, Christy keeps coming to mind, but I don't know if that's going to be very accurate with what happened with Marielle. I don't know if they would kill Christy off that soon. I mean, I would say Henry, but I don't really consider Henry an OG character. I guess it's really, when it comes down to OG character, what is OG character? Is that characters that were just in season 1? Or, are Randall and some of the bus characters considered OG characters as well? I guess that's really the question. But if we're just talking plain old characters that were only in the first season, man, Donna's a good one. I think Donna could be it. Yeah, I think Donna could be one of the first ones to go. I think Donna. I think Donna could be one of the first ones to go. I don't know, something about Donna, just, I don't see her making it. Don't see her making it. Man. I mean, when it comes to the OG characters from the original season 1, How many are left? Who do we have left? We got Boyd, we got Victor, we got Jade, we got Tabitha, we got Sarah. Better not be Sarah. That much I know. Like I mean, I could see Sarah being one of the ones on the chopping block, but I hope not. Like I don't want Sarah to get it. I want Sarah to be one of the characters that actually makes it out. Ellis, that's a good one. I think Ellis would be a really good one for multiple different reasons, not only with everything that's going on with Fatima and her being a monster, but for Boyd to lose Ellis at this point in the game, that could be something that might end up breaking him because we see Boyd in season 4 and in previous seasons when he stated, if I lose you, then all of this was for nothing. And I think when Boyd thinks about that, when he thinks about the idea of losing Ellis, for him, that means I killed my wife for no reason. Because ultimately, Boyd shot and killed his wife to save his son. Now, if he does all of that only for his son to die anyway, yeah, you could totally understand why Boyd would view it that way, where all of this was for nothing. I shot and killed my own wife for nothing. And that's how he kind of views it. And that could be something incredibly hard for Boyd to deal with in the final season while he's trying to get these people home. I mean, it could add a very interesting psychological dynamic to that final season for Boyd. Him trying to overcome the death of Ellis while also maintaining enough of his faculties to get the rest of these people home. Is he even going to be motivated to get anybody home if he loses Ellis? I think he would be. I mean, I think Boyd will still be Boyd. I mean, there's still Kenny that's there. There's still the possibility of Fatima, maybe, even though she's kind of a monster now. But yeah, I think that would be tough. I think that would be one of the tougher things for Boyd to have to deal with in that final season. But yeah, good stuff. Yeah, it could end like Jumanji. It could. It could end like Jumanji. Maybe. Maybe. Let's see. Do you think that the people that died in From will go home too? Yes. If not, how are the survivors supposed to explain why some family members are missing? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do think that I think that we've had kind of a precedent set in the show, or at least a foreshadowing set in the show that points to everyone that dies here, that gets trapped here, is going to come with them when they go. Not only, I mean, we get that really great moment with Jade at the end of season 1 when Jade and Tian Chen are talking, and he's recounting, the death of his grandmother, and how this very nice lady inside of the airport just gave Jade this really good, kind of wholesome perspective on life and death, and talked about how don't worry, she'll come with you when you go. And then we see later on, a couple seasons later, when Tien Chen eventually dies, and Jade kind of re-utters that exact same phrase to Tien Chen. Don't worry, you'll come with us when you go. I think they are very much setting up that kind of foreshadowing that all the people that have died here, when the children eventually get saved, once everyone eventually does make it out and make it home, all of those trapped souls are going to be put to rest. They are going to come with them when they leave. So I do think everybody that died in From is going to be able to kind of go with them when they leave. They're still going to be dead, of course, but they're not going to be trapped in Fromville. They're not going to be tormented in this kind of existence in Fromville where there are these trapped souls. They'll be able to finally move on. I get the feeling. And again, I think that was very much foreshadowed with that Jade scene in season 1.
You know, I grew up in France with my grandma. She died when I was 12. I had to come back to the States. I was crying at the airport, and this nice lady bought me a soda. I told her what was wrong. She said to me, "They come with you when you go." I guess what I'm just trying to say is, don't be sad. I'll come with you when you go.
Ah, man. I miss the scenes between Jade and Tien Chen. I feel like those two characters had such good chemistry together. Even though there was that, you know, that bit of that language barrier between them, some things are just universal. They're universal in every single language, and that is the expression of emotion, facial expressions, body movements, body expressions. All of those things are just completely universal. You don't need to understand someone's language to understand if they're happy or sad. You can tell. And I just feel like Jade and Tien Chen just had that really good on-screen dynamic where they just had good scenes together. Every time you had Tien Chen and Jade in the same scene, it was always good. Whether it was her being kind of stern motherly figure, slapping Jade with the fucking wooden spoon when he wasn't coming down to dinner quick enough, or scenes there, a little bit of a little bit more of a serious nature, where Jade is kind of, you know, showing Tien Chen or giving Tien Chen something that was given to him all those years ago when he lost someone that he loved, to try and ease her suffering of losing her husband. It was just really, really good. I very much miss the dynamic of Jade and Tien Chen. Two really good characters on screen. Really, really, really good. Ah, poor Tien Chen, man. Ah, and again, when it comes to just overall devastating scenes, for me, up until this point, I do still think that the death of Tien Chen was probably the most devastating scene in the entire show. And let me know what you guys think as well. What is the most devastating scene in From for you? Or what is the scene that hit you in the feels the most? For me, like there's always a handful of scenes that kind of just tug at the good old heartstrings. Tien Chen death scene, definitely one of them. Um, the scene between Boyd and Kenny outside of the caves right after Tien Chen dies, when Boyd is just ready to go full on, you know, with Kenny, if that's what Kenny needs. And of course, the reunion, the very first reunion of Victor meeting Henry for the first time. Like those three scenes in particular are just some of the hardest hitting scenes in all of From, and every single one of them are just, ah, man, they get you. They get me anyway. They get me. And you know, Tien Chen's death in particular, not only was it incredibly tragic, but the scene was made that much better with the performance of Harold Perrineau. Like just seeing how we as the audience didn't actually get to see what was happening to Tien Chen, and how the camera just kind of slowly zoomed closer and closer and closer in on Harold Perrineau's face, on Boyd's reaction to what he was watching. It made the scene that much better and that much more kind of scary, just wondering what is happening to Tien Chen. Because at that point, you're not seeing it, you're just hearing her scream. So your imagination is just going wild in terms of, holy shit, what are they really doing to her? Because we can't see it. It was just the perfect fucking scene, perfect, you know, way to add a heavy emotional weight to a death scene.
Said this place couldn't break you. Do you remember that, boy? You don't fucking break me. That's what she said. No!
Get the fuck off me! Let her go! Ah, motherfuck you! I'm gonna fucking kill you!
I'm not gonna kill you, boy. That would be no fun. You think this place can't break you? Let's see.
No, get the fuck! No, hey, look at me! I know, look at me! Hey, don't! Look at him! Keep looking at him! I'm sorry. You're so strong! Just... No, look at me! Look, keep your eyes on me.
Ah, man. It's so tough. So freaking tough. And again, you see that little bit of kind of scalp get peeled off of Tien Chen's poor freaking head. And you just, and then that's all you see. That's it. The rest of it is just a slow and steady zoom in on Boyd's face. And I don't know, I just feel like it made that scene so much more kind of gruesome with, you know, my imagination was just running wild wondering, what are they doing to her? What are they forcing him to watch? And you see Boyd's reaction to it, how he's kind of trying to coach her through it. He's telling her, you're so strong, you're so strong. Ah, man, it's just so devastating. One of the most devastating death scenes I've ever seen. Just, for the fact that Boyd is just helpless, completely helpless, watching this in front of him and knowing that he's going to have to tell Kenny about this. It makes it just, there's so many layers to that scene that make it devastating. One of the heavier moments on the show. But again, what is born from that scene, Tien Chen's death is actually a pretty big catalyst for the rest of season 3 and sets up some really other just phenomenal freaking scenes. Not the least of which is the reaction, when Kenny reacts to Tien Chen's death. Not only when he first comes back to town, the triumphant hero just brought back all this food, saved the town, only to realize that his mother's dead. And then we get this really, really good scene. Again, definitely in my top 5 from scenes of all time. The scene between Boyd and Kenny at the cave.
What are the bottles for?
I'm going into the tunnels. I'm gonna find those things. And I'm gonna burn every last fucking one of them.
Okay.
Okay, what?
Okay, let's do it. Let's go.
Victor and Tabitha said they're everywhere down there.
Yeah, Jade went down there. Clearly saw some disturbing shit. What he didn't see, creatures. Not a single one.
There's the one thing I do know. This is how they want us. Angry. I also know this. Hey, if we find them, there's a good chance we are not coming back. But if this is what you want to do, I will go with you side by side, and we will take out as many of those motherfuckers as we can.
And how alone she must have felt.
Hey. She wasn't alone. It made me watch. Hey. She was strong, Kenny. She was strong. Listen to me. She was brave. She looked at me and she did not take her eyes off me. Before she died, she said, Oho chuguko yiga takochi gela. No, I don't even know if I'm saying this right.
Take care of him. That's what it means. Take care of him. He'll be alone now.
Come here, man. Come here. It's okay. I got you, bro.
Man,
Hey, let's go back, okay?
I'm with you, Bushka Blue. I'm with you. If they kill Kenny, we riot. We absolutely riot. Kenny is one of the few characters that I am very much hoping is going to make it to the end and out of Fromville. After everything Kenny has been through, I mean, if they kill off him on top of everything else, I don't know if I'm going to forgive that. I don't know if I'm going to forgive that. Poor Kenny. Yeah, poor freaking Kenny. Man. And one thing that's so great about that scene in particular is Boyd as well. Now, Boyd sat there, forced to watch this horrific death of Tien Chen, but during all of that, he had the presence of mind to memorize a language that he doesn't even freaking speak in order to tell Kenny Tien Chen's final words. Like the amount of commitment, the amount of presence of mind to be able to kind of think of that in that moment is insane. It's absolutely insane. And it just shows you the kind of person that Boyd really is. Memorizing a phrase from a language that he doesn't speak just so Kenny can have some kind of closure in hearing Tien Chen's final words. It just made that whole scene that much more freaking better. Just so good. So good. And again, scenes like this is when From is firing on all cylinders. And for me, like I didn't really get any of these feelings in season four. And I think that's one of the reasons why season four is maybe my least favorite season. I can look at, well, from season one, two, and three, I can look at multiple different moments that just really fucking hit you right in the chest, super hard emotionally, like this. And I don't know, just season four just didn't really have any of that for me personally. But yeah, scenes like this for me, this is when From is just completely firing on all cylinders. Man, Kenny better be the first out of Fromville, right? I mean, for after everything he's been through, he better be. Kenny better be one of the first ones out of Fromville, for sure. Yeah. First, Kenny at least has maybe Guns N' Roses. That has been the running theme up until now. That Kenny's gonna die not getting any. Yeah, those scenes work because we came to care about the characters, great writing and performances, 100% Blazing one. And that's the thing, you can't just set up an emotional scene and expect the audience to care about it. You have to set it up properly. You have to actually take time in cultivating these characters, making the audience kind of connect with these characters. To the point where when you do get to these kind of more emotional moments, the payoff is worth it. The juice is worth the freaking squeeze because it was set up properly, because we as the audience care about these characters. And again, this again is probably going to be the last one I play, but nothing encapsulates that more than this next scene.
It's okay. Everything's okay.
Know how to get home. I didn't know how to get home. It's okay. It's okay.
Ugh, I didn't know how to get home. Oh man, that one gets you. Gets me anyway. I can only speak for myself. That one gets me every freaking time. Man, man, I mean, I right. I mean, I didn't know how to get home, and it's crazy how under the right setting, under the right circumstance, all you need is just a simple one line of dialogue for it to be incredibly profound and just hit so freaking hard. And that's what we get right there. Just seeing that kind of tension, seeing everything get built up in that episode where you have Henry and Victor both incredibly nervous to kind of meet each other for the first time, not really knowing what to expect. And then they finally see each other and it just happens, and you just have this really profound moment where Victor is transported right back to that 10-year-old kid once again, where he's basically apologizing almost to his father, saying, I couldn't find my way home, just like an innocent kid would. Again, some of these scenes are just so well set up, and the payoff is so worth it. Um, I don't know. That's the kind of stuff I want to see in the final season. Some of these scenes that were set up really, really well that have good payoff. And again, I don't remember getting any of those kind of moments in season four. But man, yeah. Then they have Kenny go ruin it. The scene is tainted now. I know. I mean, I'll always love that scene. I mean, I'll always look at that scene and love it. But yeah, I mean, Henry is a little bit different now than he was back then. But fucking Sophia's fucking with Henry. Although he did start drinking before Sophia started screwing with him too. So yeah, Henry's had better days. It seems like when Henry found out what happened to Miranda, it just broke him. like finding out that the man in yellow ate Miranda's body, that broke Henry. And I can understand that. I mean, that's enough to break anybody, knowing that your wife's corpse was eaten by a fucking monster. Yeah, I'd say that's enough to break just about anybody. I want Sarah to survive, but at this point, she has to die. I mean, Sarah is definitely one of the characters that I 100% want to survive. I really, really want to see Sarah make it out of here. I feel like after everything that poor kid has been through, everything that she's endured, everything she's suffered, everything, the manipulation of this place, her killing her brother. Yeah, she's guilty of some things, of course, but we know at this point she was heavily manipulated. And to see her kind of overcome that in season 3 and start to kind of come into her own, only to kind of get a little bit of that character regression again in season 4, where all of a sudden she's falling for these voices again, was a little bit disappointing. But yeah, I mean, Sarah is, along with Kenny, Sarah is also another one of those characters that I really, really, really genuinely want her to live. I really hope Sarah makes it. Um, she's just been such a fun character. I mean, that character has evolved so much from season 1 to who she is now. And it's characters that have these really good, evolution arcs where they really start off as one thing and turn into something totally different by the time you get to the end of the series. Those are always the most fun for me, seeing those kind of story arcs and that kind of evolution of a character. And I think Sarah has evolved just as much, if not more, than anybody else on the show. So yeah, when it comes to characters that I really, really want to see make it, Kenny and Sarah are definitely at the top of that list. But I do worry about Sarah. I'm not gonna lie. I think Kenny's gonna live. I do think Kenny will make it out of Fromville alive and safe, and he'll be one of the few. But I don't know about Sarah. I mean, if I had to bet, I don't know. Part of me really does feel that Sarah is gonna die in this final season. I don't want her to, but I think she might. I think she might be one of the characters that bites the bucket. But if she does die, I have a feeling she's going to go out in the most badass way possible, whether it's saving someone, doing something heroic. If Sarah dies, it's going to be a heroic death. That much I am very sure of. But yeah, definitely would love to see Sarah make it. Love to see Sarah make it. Yeah, enough of Sophia. We need the man in yellow 100%. And that was one thing I am very much not looking forward to heading into the 5th and final season. Like, I mean, I can't take another season of Undercover Sophia. I just can't. I can't. I might sound like a freaking broken record, but I can't do it. I just cannot do another 10 episodes of this Sophia undercover dynamic. So hopefully, very early on in season 5, we see this Sophia persona, this Sophia undercover storyline come to an end. Because I feel like it was stretched way past its expiration date, lasting the entirety of season 4 as it was. I do feel like that was a big reason as to why season 4 wasn't a great season. We just didn't get enough Man in Yellow when we got way too much Sophia. But that's just my personal opinion. I know everybody has their preferences. But yeah, for me, that would be ideal that we get a lot more Man in Yellow in season 5 and a whole lot less Sophia. But I don't know. It looks like Sophia's here to stay, unfortunately. Yeah, if Sarah dies, it'll be heroically. Will Boyd sacrifice himself? I don't know if Boyd will just like flat out sacrifice himself, but I do think Boyd will die saving everybody or die helping to save everyone. I don't see Boyd making it out. And I've said this from the very beginning. Anyone who's been here for a while has seen some of my coverage, right from the very beginning, that's been my take on Boyd, and it hasn't changed, and it won't change. I definitely think Boyd's going to make it to the end, but I don't think he's going to make it out of Fromville, and I don't think he's going to have a happily ever after in the real world. I do think Boyd is going to die in Fromville, likely saving everyone, or likely doing something incredibly vital that leads to Jade and Tabitha being able to finish the sacrifice or being able to finish the ritual that saves the children, or whatever the case may be. Boyd will most likely die in a very heroic way that's going to help save everyone. But yeah, I don't see him living. I just don't see the character of Boyd making it out of Fromville. But that's just me. Yeah, another vote for the Man in Yellow. Absolutely. More Man in Yellow. Definitely some more Man in Yellow. That is what we need in the final season. Stop, because why am I shedding actual tears thinking about Sarah dying to save someone? I know, right? Ugh. Ugh, I know. I know. I do think it's going to happen, though. I don't want it to. Again, I would love to see Sarah make it. But yeah, I do think Sarah will ultimately die saving someone. And I think it will most likely be her dying saving Ethan. I think that would be the most fitting, considering where Sarah's storyline started and considering that she literally tried to kill Ethan. I think it would be a very much a poetic kind of symmetry to her storyline if she actually died saving Ethan. So I think Ethan is the best candidate for Sarah to die saving someone. But Julie's also a good one. Tabitha would also be a good one. Pretty much anyone in the Matthews family would be also good. Or again, Sarah dying saving Boyd would also be really, really freaking good. Just considering, what Sarah did at the end of season 3, her stepping up and torturing Elgin just so Boyd doesn't have to. Sarah is very protective of Boyd. That much is very clear up until this point. Like, Sarah will do anything to keep Boyd safe. So if Sarah doesn't die saving Ethan, I think dying saving Boyd would be the next best thing. But we'll see. I think Victor dies saving either Ethan or Julie. Yeah, that would very much be fitting. I think Ethan dying saving. I think Victor dying saving Ethan is the most fitting. 100%. Julie would be good as well. I mean, or even again, Tabitha, anyone in the Matthews family would also be pretty good. But yeah, just considering that Ethan seems to be this kind of next iteration of the Victor character type, I think it just makes the most sense that he would save Ethan and die in the attempt. But I don't know. When the man in yellow was eating the liver at the massacre, was he the original human, or was he the entity at that point wearing the face of the original human? Looks like that was the entity, is what I would guess. That was just the regular man in yellow that we know, this entity that is the man in yellow, just already in the disguise of this man in yellow. I don't think it was the actual human or anything like that. It looks like that was just the regular man in yellow that we know. And I get the feeling, hopefully anyway, that we need a just definitive origin for the Man in Yellow. That is one thing that definitely needs to get answered in season 5. Where did the Man in Yellow come from? Was he the one that originally struck this bargain with the parents for immortality? And all of the other stuff that goes with finally finding out what happened during that original timeline, and finally getting a full glimpse as to what happened during the original 1978 massacre as well. Because I feel like until we have the 1978 massacre painted, until we really know the full details of everything that happened that day and everything that happened that night, we're not going to be able to kind of fully kind of combat it when it happens in this cycle. So I think our characters very much need to see everything that happened during the 1978 massacre so they know what to avoid. And we as the audience need it just for, story purposes. Like, that's something that needs to get wrapped up. We need to see the original, not the original, but we need to see the 1978 massacre. There's just so much about that day and that night that has been left ambiguous that we just don't know. So they need to answer that. Again, there are a few things heading into this 5th and final season that they just 100% absolutely need to answer, and they need to answer it quick, preferably within the first half of the season, some of these things. That way, the second half of the season can be dedicated more towards just your vital characters that you need to finish the story. Whereas the first half of the season can be dedicated towards maybe trimming some of the fat and killing off some of these characters that aren't really vital to the overall narrative. Because again, that's one of From's biggest problems, in my opinion. There's just way too many characters, and not enough screen time. But we shall see. We shall see. I feel so bad seeing everyone rooting for people to survive from. Am I the only one who is rooting for them to die? I mean, I definitely want to. Again, I was very disappointed that we didn't get more death in season 4. So no, I'm with you. I am definitely with you. I want to see there be a heavy toll, a heavy price that needs to be paid for these characters, for saving these children, for getting out. There needs to be a massive, massive heavy price. And that only comes in the death of vital, important characters. So no, I'm with you. I am definitely with you. I mean, when it comes to the ending of From, I don't think I would be super disappointed if the ending was a little bittersweet, if it wasn't like a super happy ending. I think a lot of us are assuming that the ending is going to be the characters saving the children and making it out of Fromville. But what if it's not the case? I mean, we could definitely totally see a much darker, more bitter ending where it's not super happy. It's not just all kittens and rainbows at the end of the Fromville. It's not just all kittens and rainbows at the end of Fromville. There's something a little darker coming at the end. I wouldn't mind that. For me, as long as it's a well told ending, even if the ending is a little sadder, as long as we get there in a believable manner and it's actually good writing to get to that moment, I'd be totally fine with it. But I don't know. I'm kind of, I've always been expecting a bittersweet ending for From. I think we will have our, some of our characters that are going to make it out, but I do think it's only going to be a handful of characters. And I think the ones that do make it out, they're going to be forever damaged psychologically for the rest of their lives. There needs to be a massive price that these survivors pay. So I'm very much expecting a bittersweet ending. A little bit of sad, a little bit of good, but definitely not just kittens and rainbows. There's going to be a dark twist towards the ending of this show, I think. But just a guess. Yeah, I mean, bittersweet endings are fun. They can be really, when they're done well, it's fun. Random Travel says, I want a bittersweet ending where they are actually able to defeat the entity and end the cycle for good, but they also mean sacrificing almost all their main characters. Yeah, there needs to be some kind of price, 100%. Like, if they do defeat the man in yellow, if they do actually break these cycles and save the children and all end up finding the way out, it can't just be that easy. Like, it can't just be WWWW win after win after win. There needs to be a super heavy price to pay for them winning. So yeah, I very much agree. I would love a kind of more of a bittersweet ending there in the middle. Do you think Randall and Christy will survive? First death, Patty Melt. I mean, if Patty Melt is the first death in season 5, I will rejoice. I will rejoice with each and every one of you, and that will be great. I don't know. I have no idea. But in terms of Randall and Christy, I don't know. I don't know. After Marielle died, like if Marielle didn't die in season 4, I would definitely be leaning a lot more towards Christy dying in season 5. But since Marielle just died, I don't know. I don't know. Part of me wonders if Christy's going to be the one of the ones that makes it. Randall, however, Randall's one of those characters that could go either way. Just because they didn't really do much with Randall in season 4. I mean, he starts off as, kind of helping Julie with some of the story walking stuff. But as soon as Julie gives up story walking around halfway through the season, we don't really see much of Randall from that point on, like really any. So I don't know. I feel like Randall is one of those characters that could go either way. He could either have a really kind of profound, heroic final season where he's super vital and helpful to getting everybody out, or he could be one of those characters that dies in the first episode. Like I feel like it could literally be either end of the spectrum when it comes to Randall. Just because he's kind of one of those characters that's kind of nestled right there in the middle. So yeah, that's kind of what I see. I see Randall either having a really good season and, being an instrumental key to helping everyone, or I could see him getting killed within the first 3 episodes. I feel like it's going to be one of the two. I don't think it's going to be just middle of the road where he straddles the fence. At least I hope not, because that was I feel like they did a huge disservice to Randall's character in the second half of season 4 by giving him no story and pretty much no screen time. When you look at the finale the finale to season 4, the last episode, Randall has 1 line of dialogue. That's it. And it's not even a long one. It's him stepping out of the clinic, looking up and seeing the red lightning and saying, "What the hell did we just do?" That's literally the only line of dialogue Randall has in the entire finale. I don't know. I feel like they completely underutilized Randall in that second half of season 4. And yeah, I could see this. I could definitely see Randall dying, saving Julie. He's been kind of a big brother protector for Julie up until this point. trying to kind of keep her safe during these story walking escapades. He's seeing that she's kind of giving herself seizures every time she does it, and he's worried for her. So yeah, I could totally see Randall dying, saving Julie. Yeah, Bapta and Acosta will get eaten by the man in yellow. See, it's these kinds of characters that unfortunately there's just not a whole lot of time to flesh any of these characters out. Bacta has been just languishing in the background for 3 freaking seasons now. Bacta was introduced all the way back at the very beginning of season 2, the original bus crew. And we know no more about Bacta now than we did when she first arrived. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, I don't know. Some of these characters, there's just too many characters at times. The cast is just a little too big. So yeah, you got to trim a little bit of that fat. And I think some of the characters like Bacta and Acosta are some of those characters that they could kill off pretty early on, that they might not really need for the vital narrative in the second half of the season. You need Jade, you need Tabitha, you need Boy, you need Victor. Like, there are certain characters that you need to finish the storyline out. But there are characters that you don't need as well. And I think Bacta and Acosta follow under that line of they're exposable. They're expendable, I guess you could say. But we'll see. Everyone in town either gets stronger or breaks down by the effects of the town, and Christy already's been someone who gets weaker. Losing Marielle is going to be the nail in the coffin. I don't see Christy being able to rise above that. Yeah, she might not be able to. I mean, yeah, losing Marielle might be the thing that just completely breaks her. It's very possible. Very, very possible. Yeah, it's like someone decided, let's just not kill Randall yet. Maybe that's it. Again, Randall's a fun character. For me anyway, Randall's one of the more fun characters. Like, I never get bored when Randall's on screen. I don't know. I like the actor. I think he plays the role well, and I like the layers and the dynamic of Randall, where you're never quite sure what you're going to get from him. Where he's capable of 1 minute stealing Alma, Ethan's goat, and being a complete asshole, whereas the other minute he's risking his life trying to save Tabitha and get her out of the ambulance. So I feel like that's what makes Randall such a fun character. You never know what you're going to get from one scene to the other. What Randall are we going to see? But I think at this point we've very much seen that he has it within him, the capability of being a very heroic character. He does have that capability. But I guess we'll see how it's utilized. How will it be utilized? Randall is Smiley, but the human 2.0 version with the scar. Oof. And that's another thing. Poor Randall, man. He's been put through the ringer. Like getting Boyd left his ass. Boyd straight up left his ass, and that was tough. That was a tough scene, because obviously that Boyd did not want to leave Randall, but he kind of had no choice there. And not only is that shitty in and of itself, seeing Boyd leave you, but then on top of it, to have the monsters just completely just screw your whole fucking day up, along with screwing up your whole face at the same time. Man, I mean, that's a tough break. I mean, he's lucky he survived, for one. I mean, I think Randall easily could have just been killed by all those monsters just as easily. But it seems like they wanted to send a message. Seems like they wanted to show. They wanted everyone to see the damage. Walking around every day, staring them in the face.
You looking for these?
Motherfucker!
Take them. We get to keep Randall, though. You can't save them all.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Motherfuckers! Fuck you! Boy! Boy, did you leave me a piece of shit?
Oh, shit. Boy, don't you leave me a piece of shit. and that's another one that PM and I absolutely love. Like, love that fucking scene. Hilarious. Boy, don't you leave me a piece of shit. Good stuff. Oh yeah, and then there's also the oh, never mind. But yeah, in terms of Christy and Randall, I don't know. Ever since Marielle died, part of me wonders that Christie's probably just gonna make it. I think she's safe now. But Randall's still kind of 50-50. I feel like his character could go either way. Either way. Let's see what else we got. I feel like they planted something in Randall. Ooh, now that was very interesting when that scene first popped up because I remember there was a lot of fan theories going around that people thought Randall was going to turn into a monster. People thought, whatever the monsters did to Randall, the reason that they left him alive was because he was going to turn into one of them. And I actually thought that was an interesting kind of concept considering what Randall had just said earlier in that episode. He's talking to Boyd on the bus and he's telling Boyd, I think that there are worse fates here than death, and I want out. And I thought that was a huge foreshadowing of these kinds of fates, the fates that are worse than dying. Like being turned into a monster is a way worse fate than dying. I'd rather die any day than get turned into one of these monsters. So when I hear that kind of foreshadowing, that line from Randall, and then we see him kind of just get thrown on that ambulance and we see that he's still alive, yeah, I thought that there was going to be something going on there. I thought that there was maybe, again, I think like a lot of other people thought, he might be turning into a monster now. But we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, great scene, great scene. And it's 100% an impossible choice, and that's actually one thing I have always said right from the very beginning. Boyd had no choice there. Like he just didn't have a choice. Boyd doesn't want to leave anyone behind, of course, but he didn't have a choice there. It was go back for Randall and save him, or go back and save everybody in the ambulance. There really was no choice. Boyd did what he absolutely had to do in that scene. And that's something I've always said. You can't knock Boyd in that scene. He did what he had to. It was either save Randall or save Tabitha, save Henry, save Jim, and everybody that was in the ambulance. It was an impossible choice, but he did what he had to do to save as many people as he possibly could. So I don't blame Boyd in the slightest. I think it's funny. It's a funny scene, just, Randall like saying, Boyd, don't you leave me, a piece of shit. Funny, very funny. But yeah, I mean, what else was Boyd supposed to do, right? He kind of didn't have a choice. He kind of didn't really have a choice there. So yeah, very much a impossible decision. And again, that's something I've always maintained right from the very beginning, from the first time I saw that scene. 100%. It's funny, don't get me wrong. Boyd, don't you leave me, a piece of shit. But yeah, Boyd didn't have a choice. He didn't. That was an impossible decision. And he made the right one. Again, at the end of the day, when it comes down to saving one person or saving 3 or 4, you got to go with the many. You got to save the many. It's just how it is. But yeah, fucking Randall. I don't know. I've come to like Randall. I've come to like Randall as a character just because, he's one of those characters that you just don't know which Randall you're going to get at any given moment. And I really hope that Randall is not a sleeper agent. Please, please, no. Like, no more sleeper agents on the show. Like, the Clara thing was bad enough. Just in my opinion, anyway. I didn't really like the whole Clara thing. It just felt very fan servicey. So I hope we don't have any other sleeper agents. And if we do, please not Randall. I don't want Randall to be a fucking hidden undercover mole. Because then that'll suck. That will suck. Because yeah, Randall will give his life to save Julie. Randall would definitely give his life for Julie. 100%. I think Randall very much, views Julie as like a kid sister at this point. It's very much that brother-sister relationship. And yeah, I think he's been doing whatever he can to try and keep Julie from destroying herself doing this story walking stuff. It's interesting because whenever Julie does the story walking, she's just out there. She's just walking and story walking in all these other timelines. But Randall's stuck there. He's stuck there watching her just convulsing and having these very violent seizures every time she story walks. So that must weigh on him after a while, seeing her in this state over and over and over again, knowing that it's going to probably have some long-term damage if she continues to do this. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. But yeah, Randall's a fun character. Randall's definitely one of my, definitely one of my more favorite characters on the show. But man, I don't know, guys. Final season. What is going to happen? How are they going to fix all of this? How are they going to resolve all of this? There's a lot of questions that still need to be answered, a lot of reveals, a lot of origins that still need to be uncovered. We still know nothing about the man in yellow and who he really is, where he came from. We know nothing, even less, about the boy in white and where he came from. What is his true origin? There's a lot. There's a lot that they need to get through in this fifth and final season. And I am ready. I am ready for it. I cannot wait to see what they ultimately do. How are they really going to wrap this show up? Is the question. I don't know. I don't know. They got a lot to get through, though. That much I do know. They have a lot to get through. Yeah, the man in yellow is going to come to get him. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Heading into the final season, that's one of the things that I'm at least hoping for. Less Sophia and more Man in Yellow. That is one thing that I want to see in the final season. I wasn't a big fan of the Sophia undercover storyline. I don't know. I just don't think it was the best direction for the character of the Man in Yellow. I mean, the Man in Yellow was introduced onto the show in such an iconic and memorable way. Him just ripping out Jim's throat like that at the end of season 3. Talk about a freaking entrance. That is how you introduce a main antagonist on a show. Just like that. But then when you get all, then, when we have to wait so long for season 4 to eventually get here, and a lot of us heading into that 4th season couldn't wait to learn more about the man in yellow. We wanted to learn more about this character. Who is he? What is he? Why is he showing up now? What does he really want? What is his role going to be? And then for them to kind of just completely immediately turn him into this teenage girl that's going undercover pretending to be human, I don't know. For me, it just wasn't a good direction for the character. It wasn't a good evolution for the character. And I just didn't really enjoy the dynamic, this undercover Sophia thing, where us as the audience, we know that she's Sophia, we know that she's not Sophia, rather, and the characters don't. And that kind of dynamic can only last so long before it starts getting a little bit stale. At some point, you need the characters and the audience to be on a level playing field. And I was really hoping that by midway through season 4, the characters would figure out who Sophia really was. And then we could finally move into the second phase of this kind of antagonist arc where the lines are very clearly drawn and our characters know exactly who and what they're up against. Because until the characters know who the man in yellow is, until they know definitively who and what he is, and that Sophia is really the man in yellow, until that's revealed to them, they're never going to have a chance to ultimately combat him. You can't defeat a villain that you don't know. So that's my hope heading into the final season, that we get less Sophia, more Man in Yellow. Let's draw those lines in the sand. Let's make it very clear what's going on in this final season, who's against who, and just let it play out. This undercover aspect thing, I really hope we don't get a whole lot of it in the final season. But that's just me. That is just my. But yeah, here we go, folks. There we go. Season 5 is going to be absolutely insane, I hope. They have so much that they still need to get through. I cannot wait to see how they're going to do all of it. And we will be here. We will be here diving into every single aspect, every single detail. And of course, like I was stating earlier, I'm actually working on a pretty big From video right now. And I should have that up on the channel at some point tomorrow. And that is going to be everything that From needs to answer heading into season 5. Now, of course, there is always going to be some small mysteries and some small questions that just don't get answered. And some of them don't really need to get answered if they're not like really vital to the overall narrative. But there are some things that 100 million gazillion percent absolutely need to get answered in season 5 in order for it to be a complete story. And those are all going to be in that video that is coming out tomorrow. Everything that From needs to answer in season 5. And of course, if I do miss a few when that video comes out tomorrow, if I do miss a few, definitely let me know in the comment sections what you think some of the more vital things that need to get answered in season 5 are, because I'm sure I'll miss one or two with how many there are. Again, the list I compiled is vast, and that's just the vital ones, of the vital kind of questions that need to get answered. It's a huge freaking list, and I am looking forward to putting that video out tomorrow. But of course, also, before we close out, we got some other great stuff that we're going to be looking forward to on the channel throughout the rest of this year, and of course in 2027. Like we were talking about at the beginning of the stream, we have so many good shows to look forward to in 2027. I think it's going to be the best calendar year for television that we've had in a very, very, very long time. We have, just in 2027 alone, we have the final season of From, season 3 of Severance, season 2 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, season 2 of Shogun. Just those 4 alone are crazy. Season 4 of Silo, season 2 of It Welcome to Derry, the third 28 Years Later film, season 2 of Ahsoka, season 2 of Dune, Avengers Doomsday. That's going to be this year, but we'll pretend it's not. Vought Rising. Can't wait for this one. Again, I love Jensen Ackles. I wasn't a really big fan of The Boys, but I did love this version of Soldier Boy, so can't wait to see his spinoff. Foundation season 4 and Alien Earth season 2. We got so much stuff that is coming out in 2027. It is going to be an absolute crazy freaking year for television, and that's just television. That's not even counting all of the big feature films that are going to be coming out that year as well. We get a lot. We have a lot of stuff to look forward to in 2027. It's going to be a massive, massive year for the channel, and I cannot wait to dive into all of it with each and every one of you. And of course, tomorrow night we will be continuing our From Rewatch Back to the Beginning streams, where we will be diving into season 1, episode 8. So if anybody has been following along with us with our From Rewatches, tomorrow we'll be watching season 1, episode 8. So you have plenty of time to watch it between now and then. And we will be diving into everything, all of the new clues that we will find in this episode. Now that season 4 is here and we have some more information, it definitely always paints these earlier episodes in a little bit of a different light when you have this new perspective. So I cannot wait to see what other new clues that we are going to uncover in these final few episodes of our season 1 rewatch and discussion. So good stuff. Good stuff on the horizon, and I am very much looking forward to it. But that is going to do it for us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I want to give a big thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us on this fine, fine evening. I know this was not our usual night to stream. This was a little bit impromptu, but I've wanted to start doing some streams like this for a little while now, where it's not just one topic focus, where we can kind of just jump all over the place and talk about pretty much anything you guys want to talk about, whether that's other shows you guys are talking about, other films, anything. And I definitely will be starting to do like a weekly stream and more of like a podcast kind of format, where we can just dive into anything we want to dive into. But that is going to do it for us tonight. Again, big thank you for each and every one of you hanging out with us. A huge thank you to everyone who sent in super chats tonight, from Dieter to West of Westeros to Adrin and West of Westeros again, and Joan. Thank you so much, everyone, for all the super chats you guys sent in tonight. Very, very much appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow night for our continued rewatch of season 1 of From, with episode 8, which is a good one. Episode 8 is the one where we finally get Boyd's backstory, and we get to see how Boyd and his family arrived in Fromville, the incident that happens between him and his wife, and everything else. Finding the talismans. A lot of stuff happens in this episode. Cannot wait to see it, and cannot wait to discuss it with each and every one of you tomorrow. So until then, stay safe out there, ladies and gents. Keep those tinfoil hats on, folks. And if you guys have not already gotten into Severance and Shogun, I promise you it is definitely worth it. They are 2 of the best shows I have ever seen in my life. And as soon as we are done with our From rewatches, we are definitely going to move right into a Severance rewatch and a Shogun rewatch, where we will be diving into season 1 of Shogun and season 1 and 2 of Severance, because it's been so long since I've seen Severance or Shogun. I am definitely due for a bit of a rewatch. So there it is, folks. I will see you tomorrow night for episode 8 of our season 1 rewatch, and then afterwards we will be diving into all things Severance and Shogun. So stay safe, folks. Keep those tinfoil hats on, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers.